all kind of on Trojan Timbers and project there. We'd had in the budget some money for a project, kind of our next placemaking type project. We talked about last year moving forward with some type of replacement on Trojan Timbers. We did some work to kind of stabilize it after kind of playground inspection, but really looking forward to getting something new and a little bit more modern in terms of the play equipment there going forward. So want to talk a little bit about kind of where we are with budgeted funds currently, where what we're kind of the intent of the project is, and how we're looking to move forward with this. So in last fiscal year, or this fiscal year, excuse me, we do have budgeted funds in there for, again, a project. This year was design, so we had $30,000 for design in this fiscal year, and then another $500,000 budgeted in fiscal year 27 for the project itself. So that was kind of what our starting point was. Looking kind of at the intent of the project, the plan would be to replace the majority of the existing Trojan Timber structure. Take out the existing structure for the most part, surface removed, redo surface, basically redo everything for the most part. There may be some elements that we would try and keep kind of as a memory or homage to the playground, and keep, obviously that was a major community project, something that we want to still recognize, but the idea would be full replacement with new play equipment. We would definitely want to work with the community, public design input at a bare minimum. I know I had a couple questions like, would you try and do some type of like community work on the actual installation? When we've talked with groups with the different playground equipment, kind of the more modern stuff, it's possible, but it is something that we'd have to make like an accommodation with, and they'd have to kind of work with us on. That's something they're prepared to do, but I think our initial thoughts would be we would really put the public side of things more in the design input than we would anything else. General timeline that we're kind of looking at, obviously design first part of this year, fundraising through the rest of the year, work on that, with construction ideally in spring of 2027 is what we're targeting. So the first step for us is really to look at kind of who are we going to get on board to help us with this process. Looking at the landscape, and Jake did kind of some research. We brought in and talked to a couple different groups. He's going to talk about those in a minute, but most of them are design, source, install, kind of all in one. So they'll do the design for us really free of charge, essentially. Like if you're selecting them and going with them, they're going to do the design. It's not an extra cost to do that. I mean, pay me now, pay me later, but the design's kind of included in that. So we may not see that kind of separate design and install costs that we typically would see with the project. They're gonna have the play equipment suppliers, so that'll be, we'll source it through them, and then they'll work on the install for the most part. We did talk about whether we may be able to do some of that work in kind, particularly with removal of the existing playground and demo type of work. That's possible, but by and large, it's going to be design, source, install, one contractor. We've met with two so far. Both have Sourcewell contracting, so like kind of the formal bidding process wouldn't necessarily, we could work through them from a request for proposals process. So that's what we're going to try and do. We've got some samples that the public schools have used to give us kind of a head start on the RFP design. But basically, we'd look to have a request for proposals process, select a design, source, install contractor, and then start working through them. Jake, if you want to talk a little bit about the
Well,
groups
just a
we
quick
talked
question
to.
for me. What
Sure.
year was the current one installed?
The current one?
98?
98 is what I heard from.
Yeah.
Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
98.
Just wondered.
Yep.
So we sat down with two companies, as Andrew said. The first one being Sinclair Recreation. They're a Holland company, and then this second one being Midstate Recreation, and they're out of Ohio.
That's Holland, Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Not Holland, yeah. Just to be clear.
Yeah. These companies offer a wide range of services from, like Andrew stated earlier, from design all the way to install, even possible funding applications as well. Overall demonstrated very similar capabilities. A few of the topics we covered with these two companies was making sure we really press the matter of community input. Having input from the community would be a very vital stepping stone for us, as Thurston Woods was built by volunteer workers. And then another aspect we really hammered down was ADA accessibility and inclusive play. Really making sure that our surfacing and our pathways to the playgrounds are accessible. Also including in that adaptive swings, transfer playgrounds, ground level play features as well. I know each of them offer similar equipment as play structures themselves, but making sure that both of them have to offer, say, wheelchair ramps for even to get up onto like a second level of a play structure, keeping it all inclusive, making sure it goes above and beyond. We also spoke with them about park layout, kind of keeping, say, the toddler section separate from the school-age kids, and how we'd go about creating that layout in a sense, and how they would adapt surfacing needs and requirements to meet our expectations for that.
So what age range are you going for
In what aspect?
playground? They have age range. They got from
2 to
6 months to
5.
24 months. They've got 5 to 12-year-olds. Are you going like trying for 6 months all the way to 12-year-old? Are you going 5 to 12?
But that's what the separate sections would be for. So you'd have your toddler range, which would be 2 to 5, and then your school age, which would be 5 to 12.
So
What
what we're,
total range?
what we're kind of looking at is maybe different zones in the playground. So like you'd have one section that was that, like
So you
Jake
kind
said,
of
the
look at
toddler.
different playgrounds and
Almost, yeah, connected
you
by
have that
pathways.
with Trojan,
Yep.
or Thurston Woods as it is right now. You have your toddler area, and then you have your other section.
Right.
And you have the same at Frank's. You have a younger kids section, and you have an older kids section. So that's what we're kind of looking at.
Mhm. Good. Thank you.
And there's the up through 38 section.
That's not the ramp.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess the last maybe thought on that is each one of those companies has different play equipment groups under them, and they have
Yeah.
pretty much everything under the sun, right, Jake? I mean,
Yeah, Sinclair is an affiliate with Game Time. They primarily do a lot of work with them. They do have other brands they partner with, but Game Time seems to be really their main partnership. Midstate, they primarily work with Play World, but do have other affiliates. Earthscape being one, kind of gives a different look to the playground as well. And they have a half a dozen other companies they partner with.
so you can mix and match the brands
Get
in
a
the
different-
design to, if you really like this particular element from this brand, but you want to have the main structure be from this other brand, there's the ability within their conglomerate, I guess, or the groups that they work with to kind of do that, so.
And at this
a lot of
point, we've
different
used
options.
each company, and we currently have features from each company at different locations in Sturgis right now.
So Jake already kind of touched on this a little bit, but to go a little bit more in depth on at least some of the initial design elements that we've talked about, the universal design and play surface stuff is an important one for those who've been around for a little bit. That was a feature or a highlight in our Parks and Recreation Master Plan, our 5-year Parks and Recreation Master Plan. I believe it also came through into the city's overall master plan when we talk about play structures and things of that nature as a goal to have all future playgrounds have those elements. There's a number of different play surfaces that meet those criteria. I think, we've talked about several. I don't know, Jake, if you want to kind of go through
Sure.
real quick on some of those. And I think we have some pictures too, right, Ken?
Yeah. You want Mid-States or Sinclair?
We can start So this is kind of backing up a little bit on this. Just kind of like the play elements design here. Just kind of keeping stuff a little bit separated. Down in the bottom left in that green section is kind of your younger kids area. And then moving up towards the right, it would be your older kids area. But this kind of gives a layout on how, for it to meet the CPSI standards, how things would have to be spread out, so to speak, to meet fall requirements. That's another photo from Mid-States, just kind of a different perspective on inclusive play. This one is from Sinclair, Game Time, just a rendering, kind of themed park, so to speak. Both of them offer capabilities to go with themes, so that's got pine trees in it, and kind of shows how you can build a piece of equipment specifically for either young kids or older kids, inclusive, not. And then that's kind of a real-world representation of how this could be implemented in. That's also going to talk on this as well, but that's pour and play surfacing there. As you can get the different designs, colors, still meets your critical fall height requirements. Yeah, so I'll get into the surfacing now. We've seen some of it. We've got a lot of the EWF, the engineered wood fiber. That's pretty much all of our parks. The only exception we have is Memorial, which is rubber mulch. Both don't have great accessibility for wheelchairs, as rolling across loose mulch is not easy. So we've really dove into looking for ADA accessible. So pour and play tiles and turf is what I'm going to be talking about. The pour and play system, as you can see there, you can do multiple colors, meets critical fall height. This product does have a little bit of a maintenance to it yearly, just to keep the debris off and keep the life of it there. But overall, it's a viable option for ADA accessible.
I know when we talked to the companies about pour and play, and if you go back maybe a picture or two, Ken, they talked about different ways. Yeah, go one more. Go to the first one. I think that's the best. You can see how they'll even put different colors in different areas. They showed us examples of even putting little circles at the bottom of a slide or around the swing set, so that if you need to replace that area, because those get a lot of wear from kids hitting them, they can cut them out in a small area and replace just a small area. So design can play an element with this kind of thing into how maintenance might be able to go. So I thought that was an interesting aside with that. But I think largely though it's one of the trickier ones to maintain, just because you got to cut something out and replace it with additional. But
Yeah, and you can mix and match colors even when you're cutting out and replacing.
Jake, what's the lifespan of the new park?
Of a park in general. I mean, typically, from what that we've talked to with these reps about, is 10 to 15 years,
10 to 15.
and that's more so on the products still being available. So if you have damages, being able to replace those parts. Typically, they keep them in stock for 10 years. Sometimes it's longer, but that's kind of what we're looking at.
Is this the surface that the school's using?
So the schools use tiles, and that's going to be my next point. And it's very much similar to the pour and play in the aspect of the critical fall height, keeping all that ASTM standards met. But the main difference is they're interlocking joints. They're squares. So you can I'm gonna say more easily replace. It's still a process, but you can more easily replace them when they get worn, and they just interlock and pop back in. Still comes in a range of colors. It is a little bit more on the expensive side in comparison to pour and play, but additionally very similar. And then my last one I'm going to talk about is turf. And this is kind of a newer up and coming. The one company I spoke with can meet fall height requirements and ASTM standards up to 15 feet on this turf. And now this is having different base layers and whatnot to hit those critical or meet those ASTM standards.
I mean, we're
But-
essentially talking like football field turf, the stuff you see. I mean, different material, but similar concept, right,
Yeah,
Jake?
similar concept. And this is, the turf would be different from the tiles, whereas the tiles are pre-manufactured rubber squares. The turf would come in rolls. They would put your base layer down, whatever padding you'd need to meet whatever fall heights we're requiring, and then it roll out the turf into sections. The pour and play, to back up a little bit here, that's actually poured in and troweled out, similar to how you would do concrete in a manner. But for turf, the surface does require maintenance, similar to all of them. All these surfaces are going to require maintenance.
Is there a difference in the life expectancy of the two?
And there is slightly. Some are better than others. The pour and play, you can see up to 10 to 12 years. The tiles, you're more between 8 and 10. And then the pour and play, you're anywhere from, the turf, you're anywhere from 10 to 15.
The two of
Yeah.
I'm just thinking.
Yeah. Pricing for them all, really, they're quite similar. So they're right around the $23 a square foot range, so
On a-
pricing really doesn't.
On a maintenance aspect, which one is better?
Well, they all require surfaces to be kind of brushed off with debris regularly. They say to go through with a light detergent, wash them. The rubber surfaces are going to be very similar in that process. For turf, my conversation I had with Forever Lawn, which is the company I spoke with on turf, they said to they maintenance it. It's a yard boss with a bristle broom attachment, and that's how they go across it. So that's their recommendation. That specific company offers a slew of help if you go with their product, but we'll
Okay.
save that.
There is less settling with the poured in place than there is with the set-in tiles. Because those, even shift and you have a little edge you could attach to.
That's what I wondered, if they're like vandalism, if it's easy for
No, it's
kids
not.
to
For the
mess with.
tile. I did speak with Jeremy on this. He was our rep for Sinclair Game Time, and he does recommend if you go with the tile to go with a concrete base, and that's what the school did. So there is a little bit more money up front there to get the proper base for that, but it helps the product last longer as well.
We're at Congress all the time, and that's held up well. I would say the key about, particular area next to a slide might get bigger wear and a tile gets holes, but I think they replaced some at the school. But I would say they've held up beautifully.
Yeah, and they do
my
offer
opinion.
mats and whatnot for high low spots to kind of help mitigate and protect that surface.
So, let's say in every surface, you get to the point where you're just gonna totally replace the surface. Which one, like, can you rate them as far as most expensive to least expensive to do a total replacement?
Do a replacement. At this point, with looking at these, I'm expecting a lot of these long life, rubber, even the turf, to be hopefully lasting the entire lifespan of the park, so that there isn't large replacements. Now, if high wear spots need to be replaced, like what Andrew had spoken about with slides or swings, those can be cut out, re-poured, re-put back in. Same thing with turf. Turf, you can still cut it out, put it back, and you can change the colors too in that aspect.
I mean, I'm guessing kind of the source of the question is, yeah, the lifespan of a park is 15 years, but we tend to squeeze it a little bit farther than that, and most places do. So I think if we had to take out the whole thing and replace the whole thing, any thoughts on what might be the easiest or hardest? I mean, we're still pretty surface level on some of these discussions, but go ahead.
Yeah, that's a difficult question.
I mean, my guess would probably be the tiles, just because
You can pop them up.
you can pop them up
Pop 'em
and
out,
pop them
back
up
in.
and put them back in. That would be my guess, but I
As
think
far as
that's
the
a
cheap,
question.
as far as
we're
the
gonna-
cheapest to,
I don't know
Well, I don't
the
know.
cost would be.
least effort, which probably equates to cheapest.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't
From
know
that
what the
standpoint.
cost would be on the pour and play. The kicker on the pour and play would be removing it.
Yeah,
Putting it back wouldn't be so much of the issue. It'd be scraping it out.
it'd be getting it removed, yeah.
If you had the tiles with the concrete, yeah, popping that out and putting them back in would be a lot faster. Where with pour and play, you're looking at crushed stone or asphalt or something. And same with turf, you're looking at kind of a loose base layer crushed stone. Yeah, and with turf, that probably wouldn't be a very viable, because you'd have to pull that out and then have to work around the equipment as well to put that back in. So tiles would probably be your best bet.
Yeah, I would be in the tile camp for sure.
So beyond kind of the surface, the other element, and we've touched on this already a little bit, was, trying to keep Trojan timbers alive in some way, shape, or form. Some of the things that we kind of batted around are things like saving some of the non-play elements. So you have kind of that entryway that's in the front of it. If you could keep part of that, dress it up a little bit. Even that kind of initial wood structure that's kind of behind there's like concrete entry gate, and then there's like a wood structure behind it. You somehow made that non-playable, but it was still there, just as a nod to what kind of came before, clean that up. That was one thought. Obviously, there's some like bricks that were put in place for donors and things like that, finding a way to preserve those and maintain that going forward for the future was some things we've talked about. The other thing was theming, and Jake alluded to this with some of the pictures and that type of thing. You can do whatever you want. You can make it timber themed to fit in with the trees of the park. You can make it castle themed to stick with what was there. We can do whatever colors you want. Both companies had wood or wood-like play structures, or play elements that you could use. Some of those are more expensive than others, but like for those who've been to one of the county parks there, they have like faux wood climbing structures. And others have like faux rock stuff. That was what one company was featuring. The other company, much to my surprise, was actual wood products. I think you alluded to that company.
Yeah,
Earthscape. Different wood than what we have. I forget what type of wood they said it was. Do you recall,
I didn't
Jake?
write that down.
Okay, but
Maybe call it an engineered.
yeah, but basically it's meant to be bug resistant. It's not going to deteriorate the same way, kind of what you've seen before is, and they design it to meet all the standards that we realize we've heard you need to have stuff, or we've been working towards. So those are interesting things that you can use features for and kind of work through in those respects. The last, two more design elements. We, again, kind of touched on this: location concepts, possibility of adjusting the site location. Could you bring up the GIS? You'll have to take the parks layer off too.
Speaking of site, do we have any idea how big, square footage now is versus what we're looking at? Do you have
I think
any idea of
I
that?
think we measured it when we were meeting. Did we say it was like what did we say?
What sticks in my head is between 20 and 30,000 square foot.
Okay, yeah.
That's what it is.
Currently. currently.
Would
So,
this just
Looking
be
to stay in that.
the play area over there, or would we still keep those two odd swing sets that are?
my guess is we'd probably be saying goodbye to the
Do
two
it to
odd
it,
swing
just one
sets.
big thing.
Yeah, do one big
Yeah.
thing.
Just to throw this
Um,
out before I forget,
yeah.
if we know any places that have put in new things in the past couple of years,
mhm.
I would like, for myself, a list of those, because of course I would go out and visit them and play on them and see what they were like.
Sure,
But
sure. And I mean, I think post
not
RFP.
this time of year, though.
Yeah, post RFP process, we probably would have a good idea of sample projects that other those companies had done, and then we'd be able to provide that and give you an option to.
Because I know
to go
that
look
this
at
kind of
some
thing has
stuff.
come up with those, they put in for the awards at MML, the
Mhm.
kind of thing.
Yep. So you can see right now, kind of one big area, and the way it's designed, that whole area has to have wood chips. That whole area has a play surface that needs to be maintained. I think part of what we talked about was zoning it and kind of connecting, and this is something that, you know, you can have discrete play areas connected by paths. That may take away some of the cost from needing to do the more expensive universal surface design
Instead
stuff.
of doing 20,000 feet of pouring clay.
Right, right. And so, and you can get creative. They talked about even like, you can do wood chips under, if it makes sense to do wood chips under a swing set, because you know that's gonna be that way. You can do a zone in wood chips, you can do a zone in this surface, a zone in that surface, and kind of mix and match as you want to. But the other element of that is where it's currently located, and this is a little bit older photograph, so some of those trees have been removed to the to the southwest there of the playground. There's a little bit more of an open space at this point. We talked about whether it made sense to maybe move some of the play equipment into that area, just directly to the southwest, still within that path, that V of the path there. Only from the standpoint of you don't have the potential for tree limbs to fall on it, some things like that. We've had that happen in the past out there, damaged playground equipment. So taking advantage of the site, or at least considering that as a possibility when we're working on the new design.
Plant pad is here, by the way, pretty much. You can
Yeah.
see, so.
Yeah, that's correct. With the bathrooms there. So last thing that we kind of talked about was whether you fence the new play space or you don't fence the new play space. Kind of opinions both ways on that one.
Yeah, we
We
had
think still
conflicting.
somewhat undecided about which makes most sense, but
Just to keep corral,
Was chasing
little
kids.
ones.
yeah.
That was
In some
one
cases,
argument, that was what Midstate had talked about, was to keep the kids in, and the other one was kind of open it up, so
yeah,
you're ADA, more ADA compliant.
right.
So
More
it
ADA friendly.
kind of goes back and forth.
Yeah.
Well, the keeping the kids in part, that's kind of the parents' job that's up there with them. So, yeah.
It is,
no
but
need for a
it is
fence.
nice when you have
I'll tell you what, as a
toddlers
parent,
running around.
especially with a
they're
play
fast.
space this big, it's nice to have some
It is,
boundaries,
yeah.
because
It is.
you can't be everywhere all at once.
Got trees around there, put a harness on them, leash, good to go.
Fair enough.
Hey, that's cruel.
Fair enough. I'm not gonna. Even with one, even with one.
No, I mean, just stand guard against it.
Oh, yeah.
Put the leash on and go back and forth on the line.
Correct.
What's that, Barry? I couldn't hear you.
I said, you don't have to have every access be ADA compliant.
No.
You can have a single point of access to it. It's just like a building, I would suspect.
Correct.
You know, we can ask Bill that question, but you only need one that has to be.
I'm not sure on that, that makes sense.
It's a matter of cost is what I look at, is because, like Jake said, if everything was a PMP, PIP, then that's gonna be as much cost as what the playground is gonna be, the playground equipment. So by just putting that for maybe the universal design, and leave the other ones like either wood fiber or something else, you'd save a lot of money. More could go for the equipment than for just the platform to stand on.
And
So-
that's a big token looking at it, and
It's a good
that's what
segue.
Andrew alluded to, yeah.
It's a good segue to the budget and costs, budget and fundraising part of the presentation.
Well, that's
so.
what I wanted to ask too, is
Yeah.
are we looking at 500,000 for this project?
No. So when we've kind of talked, we kind of gamed it out. If you're talking a universal design surface over the whole thing, plus the play equipment at a scale that we're interested in, you're probably looking at $750 to $1 million is what I would project we're looking at for a total project by the time you get your curbing and your pathways and everything else in there that you might need. So if you were gonna do pour in place, you gotta put curb, so you got something to butt up against, all that kind of stuff. You know, there's gonna be some other elements, but we think that's kind of the range we're talking about for the impact that we would wanna have with the replacement here. Obviously, funding sources, you know, when we look at the splash pad, I was looking back, we did contribute, obviously, some money directly from our capital reserve for that project. A little difficult to kind of tell overall because we did a lot of infrastructure work there with the parking lot and running the water lines and everything, but it worked out to be, if you look at the total project, it was about 50-50 in terms of what was city and what was otherwise raised from the budget of the project. So I would say we probably are looking at least a portion of this project from capital reserve. We'll be looking at all the same kinds of resources we looked at with the splash pad, DNR passport grant being one, talking to the Sturgis Area Community Foundation and the different funds through there. I've had some initial conversations about interest. That's as far as we've gone so far. Probably looking again at the public spaces, community places, crowdfunding grant and crowdfunding systems. So raising money through the crowdfunding that can match off towards a grant, and being able to do that. And then, you know, what other miscellaneous other potential grant resources there are. I know some of the playground groups have floated different grant opportunities or things like that they might have available. Once we kind of get a group on board. So that's kind of the general overall concept at this point.
Okay, so what's the price then are we looking at?
For the city only, or
No,
for
for total cost.
750 to $1 million?
So that's what we're gonna shoot for, 750,000?
750 to $1 million. Yeah, as far as the budget for the project, yeah, that was kind of. I mean, you guys can tell me. We can go smaller than that if you want.
Well,
but
I mean, you know.
I mean, that's what for it. Given the design elements that we talked about, right, and the things that we've kind of looked at when we've talked to these groups, that's the range we think a
To get-
playground of this size is going to be.
Yeah, to get a similar footprint to what's there.
Yeah. So if we want a smaller footprint, if we want only a portion of it to be universal design surface, if we, you know, all those things can kind of factor into what the budget can come down, right? It just depends on
What is it
kind of
that
what
you
we
want type of deal?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We have a lot of flexibility in designing what we want, but based on the assumptions that we kind of talked about, very high level, generic at this point, that's the range we're looking at, so.
Are we gonna do what we've done in the past with open community involvement? As far as having a meeting, coming and
Yep.
asking for ideas, suggestions?
Yeah, when I talked at the start, you know, the intent would be definitely to have community
feedback.
involvement on the design process. You know, what do they want to see with play equipment? And how we do that is something that I definitely want to talk with the ultimate group that we select. Like, do we want to have kind of a general basic design and then give them some options on specialized play equipment? Do we want to talk about theming and colors with them? Like, what are the things that we really want the input on? What are the things that make sense to just say, okay, you know, because there are so many choices, you know, at some point you can't, like, well, what do you really, you know, you got the world, what do you want? You know, you're going to have
Put something
1,000
into
different
scope.
opinions. We could be here a long time, but the point would be, yes, to have some meaningful public input into the design process of the park.
But we don't have any breakdown right now as far as construction costs, removal,
Not currently, no.
Right now, our goal is 750,000 and go from there.
Right in that general, and then, again, that's, I think in some respects, we can kind of talk about, like, when we start to get into design, they're gonna say, what's your budget? And then, they're gonna help us design to the budget, right? Like,
But one thing depends on the other too.
sure.
How much pole inflation you want, as opposed to what kind of equipment. The fancier, the ones that look like logs, you're gonna spend more money for design than you are for how many, play areas, play structures you have in that.
Yeah, and they all run different costs, so yeah, like, if we want something, we say, like, we really want something that evokes, like, actual wood, right, or is actual wood. Okay, that may be one play element that is kind of a unique play element, and pick that one, and that's that, and the rest is more standard playground equipment that's themed in a certain way. Those are the choices you kind of get to make.
I've seen when they've had natural playgrounds like that with logs and rocks and stuff. And
Yeah.
let's just drop a tree and play on that for a while.
I don't know where the ASTM standards fit on that one, Rick. I'd be interested to find out. That would be a lot cheaper.
Poles out to the dump, put them in a pile.
Yeah, sounds like fun.
When I was in school, one of my favorite toys we used to play with was about a 3-foot hunk of sewer pipe. 3 foot diameter laying out there, crawl on top of it, it could be a horse, hide inside of it, it could be a fork.
Refrigerator boxes too.
I think,
The cardboard box theory.
yeah, times change, fortunately or unfortunately. I mean,
Not really.
yeah,
The one
kids
piece
would
of
like it.
equipment at Stoughton that the kids really missed
yeah.
was I had an old tractor tire buried about a foot in the ground.
Interestingly enough, I was going to bring up the same thing. We had, I mean, that's part of this existing playground is old tractor tires. And that if you look at the playground safety standards that they have now, those things are not not in there, unfortunately, anymore. So.
Eh.
Jake, I know there was questions on lifespan. I think you guys talking mostly surface. Is the play elements, or will the play elements be the same duration, I guess, or will those have to be replaced before the surface would? Or are we talking the whole park in general being that?
Looking at the play elements themselves, it'd probably be about the same as the surface. Again, you're looking at that 10 to 15 year lifespan. That's not necessarily that the play elements equipment are going to be going bad. It's just they're going to be going out of replacement parts. So if something were to break, will not be being reproduced. That's a lot of the issue that I've come across in conversations with reps.
So year 10, you start to stock up on parts and then have a nice backlog, I guess.
Andrew, what do you need from us for the next steps?
So for me, really the next steps are going to be, we're going to start working on an RFP and putting that out. I just want to make sure you're comfortable with direction at this point. I mean, we don't have to decide budget dollars or anything like that at this point. It's more just wanted to give you an update of where we're at and make sure you're good with the direction at this point. Assuming that's the case, I'm all set.
For financing, did we think about talking to our state and federal representatives, see if we can't get a earmark like we did for the parking lots?
Always an option. I haven't seen those offered as readily as they were when we applied for it with the parking lots. I don't know. It's always an option, and that'll be part of what we look at. I mean, we'll look at all different funding options. If they're out there, we'll throw our hat in the ring if it makes sense. Sometimes those tend to be more infrastructure related. They have different kind of goals with some of them, depending on who the federal rep is or whatever. But yeah, possible.
Okay.
All right.
When do we plan on starting this with community involvement?
Well, first step will be we'll have to get the RFP, get the group that we want to work with, and then I think shortly after that is when we'd start to be working on design and getting the community involvement stuff going. So, I mean, I would say probably I hate to put a timeline on it right now, but April, May, we're probably looking at kind of starting those community meetings and getting the design process moving is my guess. Maybe earlier, depending on all the different elements of things, so.
I'm gonna look at the playground, companies, we're gonna pick the one probably closest, and, because I know the shipping is not usually included in the cost of the equipment, so that will be an added extra. So, when I was doing it for the parks, I was trying to find a company close, Michigan, there's quite a few in Michigan now, so.
Sure. Yeah, and I don't know, these two groups, as Jake said, one's out of Ohio, the other one's out of Holland, Michigan, in terms of like the reps that are handling all the equipment. I don't know how that bears out with the different like companies that are actually producing the equipment and where they're at, and they all work with multiple different companies, so, those are things that we can all factor in, I guess.
All I have, thank you.
We good?
I'm good.
Thanks, Jake, for the presentation.
For cleaning purposes, I think the bottom part should be brown or dark green. And be in the woods.
There's definitely some of that.
That's kind of how I look at my home. What color should be, what won't show the dirt, easy to clean.
Pick that up, Barry.
None of them are easy to clean.
Well, now that this kind of
It
thing.
picks up
that's for
noise
sure.
well.
As long as it's not rubber mulch. Right, Rick?
Oh, jeez.
Whatever surface you want, as long as it's not rubber mulch.
You mean like that wonderful stuff downtown?
We know who we can blame for that one.
Yes. Yeah, happy birthday, young man.
It's kind of a good idea. It could have been a good idea.
I told him, I warned him. I told him.
Sand.
Yes, hi, how are ya?
Most of that.
Changing people's habits.
Pretty good, are you, Barry?
Or peachy.
You can, I've been back here, I don't know, I've watched just a sliver of some of the YouTubes and it picks up volume pretty well.
It does?
Yeah.
Yeah, the YouTube actually
The
picks
YouTube picks it up better than
I
the
tried.
speakers.
It does.
Okay, and I mean,
I mean, like just.
Oh, I know.
It's almost being
I was
impossible.
probably, my last
Right.
one was-
Yeah, it's like when you were talking.
Yeah,
That's okay.
I don't anymore.
Well, he doesn't have much, but.
I realize it's winter.
I mean, I first got my passport just to go in, but now I can't.
I try to make a point to
Now I
remember.
have a
I can.
driver's
That's
license.
not a problem.
Where I can go to
Use your citizen. Hey, what's wrong with you? Use your citizen voice, Mary, not your city government voice.
It was supposed to take effect in 2024. 8 years.
I've always.
Yeah, in years.
Ken, I know, doing these down the road with city halls.
I don't think I've got.
Yeah, they kept prolonging, because I was thinking, oh, that'll have to go into effect before I have to renew it again, I'll just get it. And so, 8 years later, I would still have the star,
I know we talked about it last
and they finally made it mandatory, but I never had a problem. It enhanced just the, so we can go to Canada. And
I just always.
no guarantee we can get back in, as my son pointed out.
Did he have an experience like that? It is, can't get out.
You know what you do when you
Maybe they'll let me in permanently, that's what we
get a microphone in front of somebody and they are loud, they will pull it away from themselves. And
Three of my grandparents.
eventually pull it through, you see that.
It's sort of my mother and my aunts. That would have made
I
a
think
difference.
it's, yes, I think that's.
Whereas grandma was Polish, everybody she knew was Polish. Yeah, I love going to Catholic church with her. It was Latin and Polish. Still couldn't understand a word.
Mine were Lutheran.
Yeah.
everybody? So, yeah, we look at it. Is that right? Is that my whiskey being imparted on others? Empty your pockets.
Carol, I don't know if you can hear me, but we've got a number of things on the agenda. We'll get to you probably, I would say, about 45 minutes. So if you can just make sure you're muted, that'd be great.
I will do, thank you.
Dan, you're gonna have to be the chair of that one.
So the question was, Will,
I was watching the game, and I said, I know the game. I like how it's that.
I said this exactly. We're playing rough. But we haven't lost it. Don't tell him, I have to make sure I tell him. Do you ever see Roger much anymore once in a while?
I hear from Roger once in a while. Him and Ann are doing just fine. They're in Florida most of the time.
Down at Marco Island?
No, I don't. They were was it Marco Island? Off of Estero, and then they got their condo. And I can't honestly tell you where they're at. So, I'm doing all right. I hope they're enjoying it, and they've got their first great grandbaby there. So,
I love Roger.
so I do.
No, I really mean that.
I do too, sincerely. Every time I talk to him,
And I do
I
too.
just miss you. His presence and just in general, our office.
I drove him home. I'm my personal section. Sometimes he said, you're my friend.
Ask Ken, he'll give you
I
time.
did. I used to want to be like him.
Yeah. No, and I always tell them that. Our office is so wonderful.
And when he was our chamber, I was at the chamber for not quite 19 years, and he was our president. There was 7 o'clock meeting. I'm a morning person. And we get all done and go, okay, now get the hell out. But that's like the most you ever heard. I mean, he's just so even.
And I miss that from the personal dynamics in our firm, of just having that consistency.
And it's like what happens is there's like this confidence in that. Then you feel, I mean,
It's kind to me.
it is. It's confident. And it's like you're confident in what it says. I don't know. Special guy.
But it is, it's a pleasant gift when I get the ring into my office to say, and he always jokes about, there's one Roger. I'm like, oh, yes, I can take, I'll make some room for that, I suppose. And it's usually something simple or sweet, just checking in, or he needs, in most cases, it's, because some of his files are still, his personal stuff is still at the firm. He'll be like, can I ask a favor? Of course, of course.
Chris, my response is usually, you can ask all you want, I don't have to do it. It's because somebody will say, well, can I ask you a question? Yes, but don't expect an answer, you know. I don't get that. Wow. Are we expecting a fire?
No.
I'm just joking.
Well, I was wondering this, I'm like,
Why is the fire department here,
and then I
right?
look, wait, we have the burning ordinance on there. And that's
Oh,
why.
that's why. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, before we even get into that, if I have a neighborhood complaint, do I call the fire department or the police? Okay, because they burn
If they're burning
yard
something,
that kind of thing.
I would
Where
call
the
the
smoke
fire
is thick and it's
department.
coming in the windows, and somebody would say, just close your windows. I'm not closing my windows when the weather's
So
nice.
is it like a fire pit? or
No.
is it a-
No.
It's like leaves?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
I mean,
It's not enough for them to go to
I
compost.
should say it,
so they
say it
burn
like this. I would call our fire guys. Come over here and say something. But from a general citizen,
Okay,
Rick would,
because I'm not sure if I
he'll
would-
get it. I mean, let's put it this way. If Rick,
Yeah, okay.
Rick would
No.
call the fire department.
Because I've thought about it, but it's like, if I went to my neighbors, there's certain ones where I'm not sure I'll get someone who understands English.
No,
So
and I had
that was
to-
my thought.
I had to.
Not that I would,
I had to do it myself. Yeah,
but when that wet smell, we're one of those, if the weather is all favorable, we open our windows.
If you have to talk.
Just say yes when she says whatever. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
You're not gonna horse. Yeah, well, you never know.
100%.
Andrew will let you borrow his mic.
Yeah. Swing it over.
It just moves the other way.
But they're smart.
That clock is off just a little bit.
Oh, there it is. All right, we'll call this meeting to order. You can. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Miller, would you lead us in prayer?
Yes, sir. Heavenly Father, thank you for tonight. Thank you for what we have despite the weather. Thank you for us all being together tonight for the good of this city. And we pray for all the proceedings and topics, all that is on our collective minds here in the city. We pray for our collective good, that we would benefit the residents that we serve and always keep that on the top of our minds. Especially during this cold time, I pray for those who are out in the cold, whether it be for work or for anything in the course of their day. I pray for safety and protection given the extreme temperatures. And those who don't have a home, God help us to remember them too. And for them to be able to find warmth and or shelter here while we're in winter. Bless tonight, bless our city leaders, this commission, our wonderful staff who work so tirelessly. And may all of tonight be pleasing in your sight. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you. Roll call, City Clerk.
Commissioner Burr.
Here.
Commissioner Boring.
Here.
Commissioner Wiki.
Here.
Commissioner Smith.
Here.
Commissioner Harrington.
Here.
Commissioner Abs.
Here.
Commissioner Miller.
Here.
Vice Mayor Mullins.
I'm present.
Mayor Perez.
Here. All right, moving on with the agenda under proclamations and presentations. Tonight, we have Dr. Uber to discuss the Yes for Sturgis school millage bond that will be going for hopefully this May.
And I will be
Welcome
quick.
tonight.
I will not give my full presentation, will be here too long, but what I will offer is that if you want me to come at a different meeting or before a meeting or a separate time, that I'm happy with Andrew to schedule that, so we have a lot more time to have discussion about things and go into the detail. But I'm going to provide you some documents as I talk here. So there's two different things. If you could take one and pass it around, I appreciate that. All right, perfect. Thank you. Should I just tell you next when I'm ready for the next slide? All right, next, please. All right, well, as you know, Art Ebert, Superintendent, Sturgis Public Schools, and happy to be here today and to see all of you. So the first thing I wanted to expose you to is on our website is this web page that you see right here. And it's a way for people to engage with us and get information, and we'll add information to this page over time. So the top link on here is a meeting request form. So whether it's this body or maybe a family or a Bible study or there's an employer during lunch wants me to come out, go through the information on the bond proposal and talk it through. We want more than anything else for people to be informed, and then people, if citizens in the community will make their decision on how they want to vote with regards to the bond proposal. We then have under that a bond proposal FAQ. You have that in front of you there. Right now it's a 6-page document. It gets longer every day. So every time that I have one of these sessions, we have dialogue, there's more questions. With those questions, we add the answers. So it's a living document. I think the document you have today is dated today because it was updated today, so it's continually updated both in print and on the online here. The third link on the website is a Q&A form. Recently we had an individual that submitted 5 questions on there. I told them, look, give me 24 hours. I gave them detailed answers. They got back to them. So if anyone has questions about the bond proposal not answered in the FAQ document, and maybe they don't have time for a meeting, that's accessible for anyone to ask questions. And then at the bottom, we were asked to put information on how people can register to vote. So that's the state website there. Next, please. Just a little bit about our facilities. So you can see here's our different school facilities, what year the school or building was built. Our average age of school building is 1955. We have some that are around, actually we have 4 that we operate that are around 100 years old, and then some that are newer as well, with the newest being Sturgis Middle School, which was built with the last bond proposal back in 2004 was when that was built. It has the square footage, so we maintain approximately 600,000 square feet of facilities, and then acreage, we have 192 acres of school facilities as well. With this, a couple things. We last year participated in the statewide study. It was of school districts across the state, and with that facility assessment, we were able to estimate the replacement cost of all of our buildings. If, let's say, a hurricane came through and knocked over all of our school facilities, what would it cost to replace everything? That cost estimated came out to $417 million to replace everything. So that's every field, every shed, every school, every concession stand, like everything. Okay, so just some perspective of that. Since the Building and Site Sinking Fund passed in 2019, we have done $28 million of projects. So that's 7 school years, $28 million. It's about $4 million a year. If you look at that compared to $417 million of facilities, that comes out to about 1% per year that we're putting back and investing in our facilities, just to give you some perspective on the scope of the facilities versus what we do. The Building and Site Sinking Fund, which is a very useful tool for maintaining our facilities, brings in approximately $975,000 a year. So that's represents about a quarter of what we put back into our facilities over time. And that's everything from playgrounds to boilers to chillers to secure entry vestibules, and I could go on, buses and other things like that as well. Next, please. It was important to us that we used a process to engage the community to decide what we wanted to do, how many mills we wanted to ask for, the length, the number of series, and most importantly, what the projects are. So this up here is the process that we used, like a high-level overview of it. The main portion of it was our 3 community engagement sessions that drove those decisions that we made. Next, please. So here's the projects. I could talk about each of these projects probably for an hour. I will not. But I'll just give a bullet point about each one. So the first one is American with Disabilities Act related renovations. For example, if you look across the street at Sturgis Central Commons, the old main entrance has no ramp. It's stairs. So those improvements are both for entryways and restrooms as well. Athletic turf installation, that is football, softball, and baseball. It also includes, because of some redesign in the size of the field to accommodate soccer as well, and the shape of the track, it would require demolition of the visitor bleachers. So the thinking is that since we're demolishing those bleachers, it might be time to put home bleachers on the other side, so you're not looking into the sun. But it needs to be done because of the track redesign in the soccer field in the turf as well. So that's the turf. And by the way, the turf, the rationale for that is all about usage. We want to use our stadium a lot. We want it to be used all the time, both with high school and middle school sports, but our youth, we have lots of youth sports in Sturgis. And then also with baseball and softball, it's about usage. We have a lot of canceled practices and a lot of canceled games because of the muddy conditions. If we had a turf field, we wouldn't be canceling all those games for softball and baseball. So it's about usage. Bathroom renovations, that would be renovating. We have over 100 bathrooms throughout the district, so we'll be renovating all of the bathrooms, modernizing those and making them pleasant places for students to be. Boiler replacements, that would be in the boilers that we haven't recently replaced, replacing those. Classroom renovations, we've renovated many of them, but the ones that haven't been renovated would be renovations and new student furniture in those rooms. Community pool renovations, so we would be building a new aquatic center. So the old community pool building, we would fill in the pool and convert to a different use. We don't know what the different use would be. We would engage the community and say, what do you think? What's going to be useful for our kids? Do we want to turf it and use it for athletics inside? Do we want to make it a bowling alley? Do we want to make it a robotics lab for competitions? The sky is the limit of what we do, but we feel that in Sturgis, people appreciate when you repurpose something and don't just demolish it. So we feel that the building would be fine for a different use. So that's what that is. Fabrication lab, that is our manufacturing program, which is a robust program that is tight in the space. If you've been in our manufacturing lab, all the equipment is scrunched together. There's 2 separate rooms, so the sight lines are not spectacular for safety. And Jeff Wanamaker, ever since I've been here for 8 years, has been asking, we need a bigger lab, we need a bigger lab. So that would be for that space. Flat roof replacements, we have a lot of roofs that were done in the 2000 bond that are starting to leak that need to be redone. So that's a lot of work on a lot of roofs throughout the district. Fuel tank replacement, we have diesel and gasoline tanks underground and replacing them with 2 above ground units. Media center / library renovations would be renovating all of the libraries throughout the district. New aquatic center, that would be building it in the courtyard right in front of the school. There's already parking lots on both sides. We wouldn't need to build parking. It's close to the high school for students to get to, but it's separate for safety. So if community members use it during the day, we don't have to worry about safety during school hours. So that would be, and it would go from our current one is 6 lanes, it would be building it into an 8-lane center. New track and field event areas. The substructure for our track and field is 60 years old. It's cracking, it's time to be replaced. The Starkeys, who are very knowledgeable in track and field, say, make it a little bit shorter, make it a little bit wider. That fits your soccer field, and it gets faster times for track and field as well. That's how the new tracks are being designed. Then we go to parking lot and driveway redesign. That is specific to Wall School. The best practice for safety for pickup and drop-off is to have separate driveways and separate parking lots, not at all combined into one thing. That's how Wall is right now, so it needs more capacity, it needs better flow, but really for safety, by redesigning it so we have some separation between the parking zones and the pickup and drop-off zones there. Secure vestibule installations, that is in all the buildings. We have not done that yet. Wenzel's already done. The high school in Eastwood will be done this summer, so the rest of them would be, if the bond passes, included in that. Soccer locker rooms and grandstands. If you've been to our soccer games, there's not enough seating. The press box blocks the view of some of the seats. They need proper, and they deserve proper grandstands with a press box that doesn't block seating, and they need locker rooms. Right now, there's no place for the students to change other than a shed or in their car. So they would be adding locker rooms for that important activity here in Sturgis. And last but not least, thumb-turn classroom lock installations, and that allows staff to quickly lock and unlock their doors for safety and security, but they can also see from the other side of the room whether the door is locked or not. Next, please. I usually don't go that quick through it, but I am respecting your time. This project board, which we're developing right now, is not our school. We have no school that looks like this. But it's an example of what we're creating, which will be ready in a week or two, so this will be added to the information on the website and our presentations. So we'll have satellite photos of all of our campuses with different colors and bullet points, so you visually can see what I just talked through, because you might be like, what buildings are getting new roofs? What buildings are getting boilers? All these things. Which one are getting secure vestibules? Those project boards with those maps that are highlighted will display that, and those will be ready in a week or two. And last but not least, just a reminder that the most important thing to me and to the district is communication. We want people to be informed so that they can make informed decisions. What we don't want is anyone to say, I haven't heard about that. You know, we want people to know what's going on, ask questions, be engaged, and make the best decision for your family and the community. Thank you.
Any questions for Art?
Yes.
Well, a comment number one, first and foremost, what I'm most happy about is to hear that the home fans, if this goes through, you want to build them on the west side so the sun's not in the eyes of the team, which is very, very nice, and it's very, very frustrating for 30-some years.
I hear about it at every game. So someone always behind me in every game says something in my ear.
Yeah, it's really cool. Except for it's nice when it's cold weather because the sun is on you.
Oh, there you go, right? But,
no, the question on the soccer issue, you know, you talked about, you had a bullet point in there, or a section on the stadium renovations, and you talked about the track, you know, making it longer,
right,
whatever, to accommodate for soccer. And then in the other one, you had improvements to the soccer field, current. Are those one or the other kind of thing?
It's a great question. I will answer it, but this is why a more expanded session would be good, because I can really dig into some of those details. So I'll use this as an example. So our soccer, first of all, they prefer grass to practice on and play on. Their playoff games are almost exclusively on turf. So having a turf field to practice on and prepare on prepares them for the playoffs. That's one reason. Two, from a scheduling standpoint, so boys soccer conflicts with middle school football and the various high school football teams. So from a scheduling standpoint, there's going to be a lot of constraints with a robust soccer program alongside all these football programs. So scheduling becomes a nightmare when you have it in one facility. And the other thing is, we want to host things in Sturgis. By having 2 varsity fields for soccer, we can now start hosting soccer tournaments, which we don't have to travel. We bring people for all-day tournaments here to Sturgis, which benefits the community. So, for example, we recently renovated, actually demolished and built new tennis courts at the middle school. The Wolverine Conference has indefinitely awarded Sturgis with the high school boys conference championship, the high school girls conference championship, the middle school conference championship, and we're hosting regionals this year. So those are all day events where they bring families that they're just sitting around waiting a couple hours for the next match. Where do I go? What can I do? Stuff like that. So not only is it good for our community, but it's good for like pride for our kids and stuff like that. So these improvements with facilities, my point in saying this, there's a lot of benefits when you start looking at it. But scheduling was the most important thing to us, but then from a performance standpoint, that preparing for the playoffs. But then the side benefit is we can host stuff too. So that's just an example of like kind of digging into all the conversation, so hours of conversation about that happen to land it in that place.
And that, just to go a little further too, Dr. Hubert, we can host district championship games and
Right.
playoff games here, not just for football, not just for soccer, but for baseball, softball,
Track and field.
and instead of us traveling, they can come here.
One of our visions, we want to host a lot of
We
things.
host a lot of things here. Good for our local economy, restaurants, hotels, you name it.
So, all right.
Thank you, Art.
On that note, it'd probably be good to put some numbers to that.
Oh, sure.
Oh, for the,
One of the things like.
Can
Glen Oaks
I
about-
contact you later and pick your brain on?
There's not much there, but in all sincerity, to put
oh, yeah,
economics to it
economic,
does make
economic,
sense.
yeah. it's right there.
Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah.
To put some economics to the things you're just talking about.
So that's not my area of expertise, so I might need some
We can
help
find,
with
I
that,
think
yeah.
we could
You might have some
find
connections for that.
If I might add, Dr. Ebert, swim was one example where Jeremy Gump at every swim meet I'm at
Right.
is talking about other possibilities.
Right.
A lot of these hostings wouldn't be for revenue generating for the school specifically. However, swim is one example where you can rent out to a swim meet, and Middlebury does this, where it is a revenue producer. And so that kind of goes to answer your question. And his point was that's a responsible use of dollars because you're helping the facility help itself in the long term. A soccer game or, hosting a tennis tournament, you're not charging to rent out for tournaments.
Right.
Swim is a little bit different, and you could be a destination that helps the school with revenue.
So this might surprise you, we do not make money on athletics. So, I mean, obviously we do it for the kids, but we also do want, if we're gonna have nice facilities, we want them to be used.
His point was that
Right.
a significant dent can be made for something like a swim meet location that's rented out for other swim meets, not just a school event, and is also a community pool at the same time.
So, all right, thank you.
The
You know how to
other-
get hold of me.
The other exciting part about this is that if we look at our community and we look around, there's not much activities left for kids to do. And hopefully with these improvements that we do in all athletic fields, that we can entice more kids to go out and try out for these sports and get more involved and be more prideful with the facilities that we don't have, that we will have if this thing goes through.
Thank you.
Thank you, Art. Next on the agenda is the visitor section, and we do have a visitor tonight. If you would, please come forward to the podium, state your name and address.
My name is Luke Lori, Lori, 618 Arizona Boulevard in Three Rivers. A lot of you here may know that last name. My dad was Matt Lori was the sheriff for a long time and then the state representative in the old 59th district. My mom is a retired teacher out of White Pigeon Schools. I went to Michigan State, earned a bachelor's degree in environmental policy, and then a cognate in political science and a specialization in international business. I then went on to serve over 2 decades as a corrections officer at the jail here in Centerville, and most recently as the district court magistrate for this county. I'm here tonight to advise this commission of my intent to run for state representative. Frankly, I'll be retired this Friday, so 2 days, and on Monday I'll be filing my paperwork. I'm not here tonight to besmirch anybody. I will just say that over the past few years, I've become increasingly frustrated with the, we'll say, level of service, leadership, and leadership style of our current incumbent. If I was elected, you would find me in my district talking to everybody, local leadership, teachers, farmers, small business owners, anybody on the street who has a problem, I would try to take that problem back to Lansing with me and help resolve that issue. If elected, you won't find me grandstanding or self-promoting or spamming your emails with the latest antics in DC. We have 24/7 news channels for that. Instead, you would find me focused solely on the constituents of this 36 House district, keeping open lines of communication with every resident and promoting our area as a great place to live, work, and play. I would say with my years of public service behind me, my education, and frankly, the public service that my family has provided before me, I would be the best candidate to be your next state representative, and I hope by August you'll agree with me. Normally, I would have literature here with me just to set on the table or something. Instead, I will just give you my email. If you have any questions, you can certainly reach out to me directly. It's Luke L. Lori, so LUKELLORI @Yahoo. I'll certainly respond back to that. I'll be back at a later date to maybe give an update and have literature at that time. But I appreciate your time tonight. I will spend the rest of the evening sitting there and listening to the issues that are facing your city. And if anybody has any questions or comments afterward, please just come up and talk to me.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on with the agenda, approval of the agenda.
So moved.
So we have a motion?
Support.
And support, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Next is the approval of the consent agenda.
Just before you make a motion, I updated the minutes, put in some seconds that weren't there. So
Okay.
they're all-
So moved.
So we have a motion?
Support.
And support, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Moving on to unfinished business tonight, we have the zoning district changes, second reading. Mr. Wilpritchard. Welcome, Will.
Thank you, Commissioners. So the second reading for a zoning district change for 32 properties, which is now 33. There was a land division, one of the city properties for the substation, the solar project of the battery energy storage. So it's 33 properties now. But basically they were separated into 3 different groups, and the biggest reason that we're doing this is kind of 3 reasons. One, as part of the master plan back in 2020, we looked at always cleaning up uses as we go through it. We've been doing this over the last several years, so there were some properties there right around the Fawn River corridor that had some retail uses, and they were manufacturing zoning districts, so we're looking to change those from manufacturing to Business Highway 1. And then the next thing was, over the last couple of years, we brought this to the City Commission to talk about, how do we want to see marijuana being regulated in the city, and we were looking at transitioning everything south of Chicago Road from manufacturing 1 to a different zoning district that would not permit marijuana use. So that would be one of the next changes. So anything that was manufacturing would now be transitioned to manufacturing 2, and it would limit any new marijuana businesses. All the pre-existing ones are good to go as long as they continue with their permits and processes. And then the last thing was the EDC had purchased that 100 acres down there at the state line. And this year here would allow half of that, or a portion of that property, to be split into Business Highway 1, with the remaining portion being Manufacturing 2, which allows us to apply for some grant funds and start to work on getting infrastructure down there so we can start to develop that property. Happy to answer any questions you guys may have.
Any questions for Will?
Mr. Mayor, I move that the Sturgis City Commission consider this the second reading of and approve proposed zoning district changes effective February 20th, 2026.
So we have a motion.
Support.
And support, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you,
Thanks.
Will. Next on the agenda is the burning ordinance first reading. Mr. Cody Craig.
No, Sturgis Public Schools.
Oh, wait. Sorry about that. It's Jeff and I's birthday, so we're trying to get out of here a little quick. Sorry
Thank
about
you,
that,
Mayor.
Barry.
Yes, Mayor.
Sturgis Public Schools State Championship sign request, Mr. Barry Cox.
Good evening, the rest of the city commissioners. Sturgis Public Schools, which is obviously
We have our Ebert here this evening for the presentation he gave earlier. Came to the city last summer looking to kind of update the signage for championship teams that the city has had over the course of numerous years in the public school system. So there's been some modifications by MDOT as far as what's allowed as far as signage in MDOT right-of-way. And so we had to work through some challenges there to try to come up with some locations that might prove suitable. And so tonight, before you, we have two locations where the school district would like to put signs, and those two locations happen to be on city property. So if you would go to the sign portion. This one's on the east side. There's not actually a sign here, and this actual sign is not, I don't believe, on city property, so they're not going to be placing one on this particular property. So let's go. They do have a sign further to the east on US 12, east of Big Hill. That one would be removed by MDOT as part of this whole process. Go to the next one. So right now they have two different signs out on the west side of town on West US 12. One of them is just east of Dairy Queen, which is the one on the left. The other one is the one at the welcome sign on the right. Both of those would be removed. The one on the left would be removed by MDOT. The one on the right would be removed by the school district's sign installer, and they would. The intent would be, if approved, to install the championship sign on that particular sign. The second location for a new sign would be at the north side of town, coming in on North M66. Again, this sign would be removed by their contractor, and we would adjust the Tree City USA sign to allow for the championship sign to go on there. And then lastly, they have a sign down at the south end of town that would be removed as part of this as well. So this one is another location where we do not currently have, this is not property that's owned by the city. So what we have is a 48 by 5.5 foot sign that basically identifies all of them. I don't know if Art has anything else he'd like to add, but basically because they're on city property, we felt it was important to present it to you for consideration as to whether or not that's acceptable.
You want me to talk from here or there?
From the podium.
Just a couple details. So as you see, there's 17 state championships starting back in 1924 with girls basketball. The question I received is what would happen if we won, happily, another state championship? So the school district would pay for a new sign, have our installer remove the obsolete sign and put a new one up. So that's really the only context I have to add to that. So we're paying for the signs and the installation, and then we're doing some coordination with the state on removal of the signs as well. Yeah. Thank you.
Does it have to be green? Can you do it Sturgis colors, or is this the official color?
Because I think it's an informational sign, I believe the MMUTCD or the MUTCD requires it to be green.
Green, okay.
I don't know if it has to have a boundary
Nice
or
color.
not, like green, there's a white boundary, the thing or not. I have to do a little more investigation before you get ordered, so. Thank you, Art.
Okay, question?
Yeah, the footprint on this, I know obviously it's gonna be taller.
Yes.
But by looking at the picture, what's the difference in width? Or is there any?
It's the same, I'm pretty sure it's the same width as those signs.
We believe they're 4 foot wide signs.
Go up-
Signage never looks exactly the
Go
way
up
it
to the
looks like,
north.
Commissioner Smith.
Yeah.
I mean, it always looks smaller than they actually measure it. You know, our low bidding, no parking signs that look like they're like this big, they're 12 by 12.
Yeah, I know.
So, so these signs, they don't look that big, but trust me, they're probably 4 feet wide. Obviously, this particular sign would be significantly taller.
Yeah. My one concern would be it looking a little too cluttered. So would our sister city sign go on the same post as these?
I don't think there's gonna be enough room. I guess that's a question whether or not we could adjust the no parking sign to make that taller and put the Sister City sign on that one as a single post attachment below it.
Yeah, but I mean, not necessarily just that one, any of them, the signs. Some of them are pretty barren, but
Well, this is the only one I know of that has 3 different signposts. If this is the particular one you're questioning. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm
Snuck
speaking
up on
just
you.
in general.
One thing that I would recommend is we could work with Barry and the vendor we work with to make recommendations, and we would pay for the install. If it meant adding posts, or like how would they visually arrange it so things look good and are properly spaced and it doesn't look like it's just thrown together? Like looking at the
So this is a perfect example, this one right here. Because obviously the baseball champion sign would go down, would go away. My expectation would be that the larger sign, the championship sign, would go above it, and then the Tree City sign would go below it on a single side of the post, like it is right now.
yeah. Okay. That's it.
Any other questions?
In your update, and by what you just said, do you imply that, I mean, the state championship signs have been on MDOT signs, like city limit, village limit signs, for as long as I can remember? That was a recent moratorium on that?
We were told that they could not go back in the locations that they were, either the new signs, whether they were smaller or not, would not be able to go in public, in MDOT public right away as a signage. I don't know if that's at state level. It sounds like it's a state level item.
They didn't tell you when that was made, or?
No, I can tell you that our sister city, these little signs, the ones that are actually in the state right away, which are a couple, would, if they got damaged, would not be able to be put back in those locations.
So they're good as long as they're
they will leave them there as long as they're intact.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Thank you, Barry.
Can I make one comment? Look, as a side note, looking at these pictures, we need to get rid of those bushes in front of the Sturgis sign so we can see the sign.
Or trim them.
That just grow again?
Not if you keep them trimmed.
They're still growing between trimmings.
Well, it doesn't.
The photos taken last year, Art?
These photos were taken last year.
You can't see the bushes right now, they're full of snow.
I was gonna say, I don't think it took last week.
I don't think we could look at them today.
I just had to say it.
Yeah, I won't promise they'll be taken care of in the next week, but we can look at the bushes in front of the sign.
So what we're looking for is approval to place the signs on city property on the north side of town and on the west side of town.
What's the wish of the commission?
Mr. Mayor, I move that the Sturgis City Commission approve the request to place state championship signs on city property on the west and north sides of Sturgis as presented.
So we have a motion
Second.
and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sorry about that, Barry. Next up is, now we're back on the burning ordinance, the first reading, Mr. Cody Creighton.
And before Cody goes up there, I just want to note in the packet, sections 2610, 11, and 12 were supposed to be red line sections. The redlining didn't come through, so that's final language. I do have Ken, he has the existing language up there. Just for comparison's sake, you'll see that 2610, which is the totality of the area that covers outdoor burning right now, is quite a bit smaller than what we're looking at today. But we can use that to look at anything if you wanted to look back at what existing language is. So, go ahead, Cody.
Welcome, Cody.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and City Commissioners. In your packets for this meeting, there's a proposed change to the City Code of Ordinances, Chapter 26, Fire Prevention and Protection. This chapter has been largely unchanged since 1969. The language does not provide clear direction on how burning can be conducted, nor does it address newer technologies and devices that we've encountered, such as patio warmers, portable fire pits, and outdoor wood fire boilers. These appliances are regulated by our adopted fire code, the International Fire Code, which leaves a gap between the existing ordinance and the fire code. The state of Michigan has also established open burning rules that are enforced by local fire departments since the city ordinance was drafted in 1969. This makes 3 separate documents to be considered when handling unauthorized burns and questions regarding the operation of burning appliances. One of the primary goals of this proposed ordinance is to align these 3 documents to alleviate confusion and inconsistencies. Some of the current ordinance is also very restrictive. Currently, we do not allow burning on Sundays or after 7 p.m. on every other day of the week. This has been evaluated and changed to allow campfires later into the evening 7 days a week. Some burning rules will remain in place, such as no burning of leaves, yard waste, construction waste, and household trash. Also included in the proposed ordinance is language for the use and installation of outdoor wood-burning furnaces, also known as outdoor wood boilers. There is currently no language for these appliances. The operation of an outdoor wood furnace creates large amounts of smoke, which creates air quality issues and neighborhood nuisances. The smoke that is generated is of concern to residents with respiratory illnesses and can have adverse health effects. Many municipalities have decided not to allow outdoor wood furnaces at all. We decided to allow outdoor wood furnaces to be installed as long as they meet certain distance requirements, safety and design requirements, and operational guidelines. Other municipalities have required these installations to be at least 200 feet or more from neighboring buildings. This proposed ordinance would require the boiler to be 150 feet away from neighboring buildings. It does allow the installations to be closer as long as the chimney height meets certain height requirements. These requirements are very consistent with other cities across the state. These proposed changes were made after a thorough review of the International Fire Code, state burning rules, and burning ordinances of municipalities from across the state of Michigan. Based on that review that was conducted, it was determined that the proposed changes will effectively manage open burning, outdoor heating, and recreational burning now and into the future. So, can I answer any questions?
Any questions for Cody?
Cody, like other ordinances, if, I know of a few people with boilers, and it's not bad when they're sprinkled in the city if you let them in en masse, and it'd be a different problem. But I can think of a few that are existing. Would existing be grandfathered in when this ordinance is put in?
They would not, no.
Okay, so they'd have to, you and/or Will would?
Me. And the reason why we did look at some of the proposed changes was to alleviate some of those issues, which is why we went to the 150 feet requirement as opposed to 200, 250. Some of our neighboring cities only allow them in manufacturing districts. Others only allow them in businesses that produce wood waste. So we did consider that the existing boilers and try to accommodate those as best as possible.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Some of the communities, though, do actually allow them?
Some do, but they're not addressed at all, or they are addressed with those restrictions. Typically, it's 200 feet away from buildings not on the same property, height requirements for the chimneys. So these are very similar to what other municipalities are doing.
How many properties in the city of Sturgis can one be put that would be 150 foot away from the neighboring building? I know the vast majority of lots in this town are a lot smaller than that.
Yes, that is correct. We'd be looking at some of the facilities within like the manufacturing areas or on the outskirts of town.
You're basically trying to Pritchard us and eliminate them entirely by over-regulating them so nobody can put one in.
Well, the idea is, I mean, if it fits your property, you can install one.
And you're gonna go out and make people pull their furnace out in the middle of winter if this passes.
From the research that we have done and the existing boilers that we have seen, only 2 would be in non-compliance, one of which, from my understanding, is not in use. So there would only be 1 that would be affected that I know of.
Well, I know I wouldn't have a spot on my property to put one, and I'm a few years overdue for a new furnace, and that's what I was thinking about. Yeah, no. Burning barrel regulations. We currently allow burning barrels as long as they're covered. If they got a screen on them, so they're not shooting up sparks. The way this is written, that would eliminate burning barrels?
Yes. Well, I guess it depends on what you want to burn in the burning barrel.
Paper trash, obviously, you can't burn garbage or plastic.
Yes, that would eliminate the burning of papers and that kind of waste.
No. With identity theft, tweaker ain't gonna put ashes back together, but they will put shredded paper back together. So it's kind of important to have that option also.
Okay.
Cody, on the one that is in use, why wouldn't we just grandfather that person and say going forward, this is the new rule?
For that one, there's some extenuating circumstances as far as the design, manufacture, and installation of it, because that was a topic of discussion as well. Is again, we want to allow the appliances that are properly made, they have been safety tested by UL or ANSI or another accrediting agency. So there are some extenuating circumstances with that one.
Okay. Any other questions for Cody?
Yeah, because, why did we extend the hours to 11 p.m. for our campfire? I know it's great, cool October, but in the middle of summer, there's some people who are out there 85 degrees, you got your windows open because it's cool enough to have your windows open, and then you got the smoke drifting in. So basically, from the time they want to start burning, there's no limit on the month, or
No.
they're again 11 o'clock. Do you think they're going to wait until the ashes go out before they leave? They're going to leave, and they're going to smolder for another 2 hours.
Well, it would be the expectation that if after 11 p.m., if it was a smoldering fire that was continuing to burn and smoke, and we received a complaint about it, then we would go address it with the homeowner. Either have them put it out or the fire department could put it out. But that is another issue that we run into because the current ordinance says that you have to stop all burning at 7 p.m., which on a holiday weekend or a summer weekend or a fall weekend when people want to sit outside and enjoy their campfires, the majority aren't stopping at 7 p.m. So
I've noticed when my windows are open that they don't do that either. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know it was 7. Well, not that I want you to come at 1 o'clock in the morning to my house, but I'm out there burning wood.
but not on Sundays either. So
well, I know. I was reading it. I'm like, oh man, all right. I'm glad that my neighbor don't complain.
Also, I noticed the campfire rings shall not exceed 36 inches in diameter. So if you've got the block cylinders, the cement blocks, which are a foot, and you make a ring, and you got a foot here and a foot there, so what? So how big your center going to be?
I would consider 36 inches of an inner diameter.
So it's 36 on the inside?
Yes.
Okay, that wasn't really specified, but, okay.
I'll make a note of that right now, though.
So basically, if somebody's burning and I have my windows open, my only recourse is to shut my windows, if that smoke is coming right in my house.
If they're burning within the guidelines, yes.
You have no rights.
Well, 1101, then
You're
you know,
not
you
in
can call the fire department and they'll take care of it for you.
Not if it's...
Okay, I'm sorry, our windows are open all the time in the summer. Air
Yeah.
conditioning is the last resort.
11.
Yeah, you can't call till after 11, right?
So when you wake up...
You can't
11,
call
you
till
go.
after 11.
You can certainly call, I mean, and we can evaluate if it's within the guidelines or not, but again, I mean, it's, you know, we want people to be able to enjoy their campfires in their backyard if they so choose. But
past that,
It's a
then,
material
yeah.
issue too, right?
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
it's leaves, then it's any time, that's something that can be called on. I mean, if it was, depending on the material, that's also
Yeah.
part of it.
Which,
Campfires.
which is part of the reason why we did define what could be burned, so that way it's, you know, we're trying to have clean fires that aren't producing a lot of smoke, a lot of steam, and being irritating to the neighbors around.
Yeah. Well, I get it.
That's the biggest issue. Someone's usually burning plastic, and I don't know, especially if there's not a strong wind, it's just hanging and you can't find it. I've looked before, tried to find it, can't find it.
It does get difficult, especially this time of year when the smoke just doesn't move and hangs.
Not a problem this time of year. My windows aren't open, but still blows through the house, but still.
But I think if the fire department would be called, they would know if it's plastic or garbage instead of just
Well, I know
clean
it's
wood.
plastic, I can smell it burning.
I mean,
but
because
I don't know where it's coming
definitely,
from.
it smells different if you burn something else. So.
You definitely know the difference in the
Yeah,
odor.
definitely, you can definitely tell.
Yes, I can.
Any other questions for Cody? And we have a motion here too.
Mr. Mayor, I'd move that the Sturgis City Commission consider this the first reading of amendments to Chapter 26, Article 1, Sections 26-10, 26-12, and creating Article 3, Sections 26-60 through 26-66.
So we have a motion
Second.
and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Okay.
Need a roll call on
Did
that?
you,
I think it's time for a roll call. All right, Commissioner Wiki,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Boring,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
No.
Commissioner Burr,
No.
Commissioner Abs,
Yes.
Commissioner Harrington,
No.
Vice Mayor Mullins,
Yes.
Mayor Perez.
yes.
That's 6 yea votes, 3 nay votes. Motion is carried.
He's carried. Thank you, Cody.
Thank you.
Can I ask of those that vote no, is there anything that we could tweak that would make it more palatable for you? I mean, obviously, you know, if there's small things that can be adjusted before the second reading, be happy to look into those, but I think I heard yours, Commissioner Smith.
Yeah.
Those seem pretty major. I don't know that I can accommodate all those, but for the others that voted no, I didn't know if there were other.
Just the lateness it allows it to burn, because like I say, even if you stop at 7, let it burn down till 9, 10 o'clock, people go in, they're not gonna wait. I've seen it smolder, but
Okay.
I just think if you stop at 11, it might be 1 o'clock. And
The only, again, that, the gentleman, or whoever it is that has a wood burning, I mean, what's he gonna do? I mean, does he gotta go out and buy a new furnace?
I mean, I don't know
that'd be
his
tough.
personal circumstance, but I do not believe it's a primary source of heat for his residents.
Okay.
I mean, I voted yes because I do burn a lot of wood. I usually get two to three truckloads a season, and I love the smell of wood. I love sitting out there. You know, I have an outdoor pool as well, and I don't go to work till 9, so I'm there till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. But I wasn't aware that we had to stop at 7, and I wasn't aware we couldn't burn on Sunday. So I've been doing it all along. So now I'm like, whoa. But my
I would hazard a
concern-
guess you're not alone in that, Mr. Mayor.
But I'm concerned with the one gentleman. I was gonna vote no for that one gentleman. You know, I would want to see that individual grandfathered, and that way we don't have any issues. You know, everybody knows going forward what the rule is, and
Well,
It
I
would
mean,
certainly
I
be
get,
an aspect.
I
if it
mean,
was
well,
a
I get
biased
if it's a
source.
safe, if it is a safety thing, though, I mean, that is a problem.
yeah, but you know,
I mean, that could be pretty expensive if,
I mean, if it was just primary heating source, it'd be like, hey, pal, that's But I hope that helps you, Andrew.
Yeah, no, it does. Feedback does. I just, always, if we can make small tweaks and get better consensus, happy to do so. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Make sure I get this one right, back to zoning. Next on the agenda is the zoning ordinance amendments, first reading. Mr. Will Pritchard.
I told Cody he
Cody,
brought his back
he
up.
brought the
He
muscle.
brought his back up. He was
say
gonna make sure it got passed.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Welcome, Will.
So as you know, every time I come across zoning ordinance changes people bring to us and they have common issues, I keep tabs on those and we try to address them as we see fit. So today we're bringing four changes to you. The first one is temporary promotional materials, and this is dealing with the downtown district and the business neighborhood zoning district, which is the area just east and west and north of the downtown. So it has everything to do with the banners that people put on their buildings. So we've recently had a downtown applicant or a downtown business that they're putting on the back of their building, and they're using them as temporary promotional materials, so they're advertising different types of deliveries or specials they have. And I took that and we went and talked to the DDA. They were okay with putting them on the back of the building. They didn't want to see them on the front of the building and then have to pay attention to those. So this ordinance change basically just says, hey, you can put them on the back of the building. You just can't put them on a front-facing facade, so the front of the side if you're on a corner lot. So it allows them, just like we would allow in the Business Highway 1, they can put them on the back, put them on their fence if they have one like Wings Etc. does, and they allows them to put up a different sign advertising something every 30 days if they wish. So that's the first one for the temporary promotional materials. The second one is the walls and fences. So this one is pertaining to essential services. So when we were dealing with the substation and the battery energy storage system down there, they have different requirements than what our zoning ordinance has. We have a max requirement of height of 6 feet with 2 feet of security fencing, or 18 inches, I think. And they required an 8-foot chain link fence with security fencing on top of it. So they have a little bit different rules to follow. So this year here would allow essential services, as long as they meet their code requirements, it allows zoning administrator to just approve that without having to go through any formal approvals. And then the next one is corner clearance. So these are properties that are corner lots, and it deals with intersections at people's driveways. So if you go down just a little bit, there's a little picture at the bottom. So you can kind of see that we're dealing with, if you look at the top left where it says 25, that's like a corner clearance where we have issues of line of sight at corner lots. And then we have the driveway just south of that where you see the 15-foot triangle, that right there's just a vision line of sight. And then the last line of sight, if you go down to my other picture that I included.
It was a separate file in the folder, Ken.
Is that another file?
Yeah, this is something that we're correcting, the picture you'll have hopefully at the next meeting will look like the other one, just not like Will drew it on graph paper. But basically, if you see the dotted line there, that is what the ordinance is going to permit. So we understand that corner lots have this negative reaction to being on a corner lot. They have to be 25 feet back. So what the ordinance is going to read now is basically the address side is the front yard setback, that you have to guarantee the full front yard 25 feet in this circumstance. And then the other side, which would be a side street, that right there would be half of whatever the front yard is. So that's where you see 25 feet on the top, 12 and a half on the left. And that would allow a chain link fence or a privacy fence outside of those front yards, but it would allow it to be within 12 and a half feet of the side yard versus 25 feet. And the key is, if you see the little red line that comes down on the angle, the way that the ordinance reads now, it says that nothing within 25 feet of the adjacent property line can be over 2 feet. So we believe the point of that requirement in the ordinance is line of sight for the adjacent property, and allows a spot for the adjacent property to line up their fence when they put one in. Because if you allow that neighbor's fence to go straight across, then the neighbor has to be back at 25 feet if I had to put my new fence up, and there's nowhere for this thing to look like it's correct when they're putting them up. So between line of sight and giving it a spot for everything to line up, we feel that by adding the angle, it kind of cleans up some of that, and it gets weird, away from that little weird 90-degree angle.
That's the current, right, Will?
The
weird
90-degree angle is
90-degree
current.
That's the current requirement.
So we're cleaning it up, we believe, by allowing the angle, because that's something I deal with in the office on a corner lot quite often, is when somebody comes in, they don't like that 90-degree angle. They all want to go at the line of sight, straight triangle that's there. I've taken it to the Zoning Board of Appeals twice now, and both times they've interpreted that we've been enforcing it correctly, and they have not granted the variance. So it seems like it's been pretty recurrent on people asking, so it seemed like an ideal time to go through and make the change, assuming the City Commission approves that. So the other thing, if you go back to the ordinance, Ken.
They'd still be able to do either way, right? 90-degree or...
You can go, yeah, you just can't put it, it would just allow you to do this, which would be beneficial. So if somebody wanted to run a 6-foot privacy fence along that line at the 12.5-foot mark, it would allow them to run it there, run the angle back, and then the neighbor wanted to run a privacy fence, it just continues it. So it's just clean. It does allow them to put the chain link fence where we had to clean up just above it, that basically it says you can't have a chain link fence in the front yard. So we had to allow an exception based on 1.1107, the corner lots. So corner lots are the ones that are going to be closer. So it allows them to put the chain link fence or the privacy fence in the front yard. So we're cleaning up some contradicting language there that would potentially allow the chain link fence or the privacy fence within that 12.5 feet that they wouldn't be permitted to currently. So just lessening some restrictions.
Just to be clear, it's in that secondary front yard.
The secondary front yard. There is an option that the secondary front, those two front yards can switch. If you read the language, it says basically address side, or basically the zoning administrator says something different. So let's just say you have your door is your address side, but the main entrance of your house may be on the other side, and that's the side that we need to utilize for the front yard full requirement. We can look at the other side as the half requirement.
And it wouldn't, if you allow it for the side, it wouldn't be because the driveway's there. The driveway would still be on the address side, but you could still make the other side the front yard?
We could.
You could?
I mean, if it makes sense, when we're looking at it, if some of these houses were designed with, you can tell which side the front yard was, right? The main door is there, the driveway's there, the address side, and the other side is just the side of a house. But some houses have it, the front yard is their door, address, but then on the other side, they have another door with a driveway, and that may be the side that,
But you wouldn't have to have the driveway on that side to consider that the front yard.
right, we're gonna look at each one, we're gonna look at each one, see which one makes sense. We're gonna work with whatever, because I get into some of these where the address side is the short side, and the other side is the long side. So it kind of hinders them a little bit on putting this together. So by adding that language allows us to work together to try to figure out the best solution.
Good, good.
So the other thing we did is just, rather than the title, it used to be just corner clearance, now it's, go up a little bit, Ken. Clear vision areas and corner lots. Maybe.
I'm glad Will brought up a question on the address and the ability for the zoning administrator to make a decision as to which side is the front yard. Because one of the things we do run into from time to time is the house is actually addressed to one side of the corner lot, and there's no door there. So that allows him the ability to make that choice, which that didn't get brought up in Planning Commission, and I didn't think about it at that particular point in time, but it allows that flexibility as well. So we try to get them all addressed correctly, but we find some from time to time. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Barry.
We find these changes, these are just common things that we come across when we're evaluating zoning ordinances, and it was an ideal time to fix it.
Any questions for Will?
Yeah, when you say banner, signs, you mean like the big, say 3x8 grand opening signs, or
Better signs.
April sales?
Yep.
Or whatever?
Yeah, 4x8 banner, basically they're like the vinyl sheet goods that's just like a 4x8, that's just temporary.
Yeah.
And you can alternate back and forth every 30 days with that temporary promotional material.
That you're eliminating on the front of the building.
Correct.
Where
In downtown?
road
or-
traffic is at, where people can see them. Another hindrance on the small downtown business. Okay, thank you.
Another, only in the downtown or anywhere?
Downtown and that business neighborhood, which up until recently was under the downtown rules, so everything looks like it's part of the downtown, it's just that it's stretched out. So it's basically that area, the corridor through the downtown, and then just the area north up to Main Street.
Okay.
I was
Yeah.
curious as to why that came about. I mean,
Which one?
the banner thing for downtown.
How did it come about?
Yeah, why?
Well, everybody thought that banners were not permitted in the downtown, which they are not permitted as a temporary sign. But the way that people want to use them is promotional materials, so if they have a sale, they can put stuff in their front window as promotional materials, which is what the downtown businesses do. But on the back of their building, some places don't have a good spot to market these things, so this year here would allow them to put that banner on the back of their buildings, and that's the point of it. If you're gonna put something on the front, put something permanent, or you can use your windows
In
to
the
do
window.
temporaries.
Okay.
And then outside of this, outside of the downtown and the business neighborhood, we have other signs that people could use. In the downtown, on the front, they could put a feather flag out front, they could put a sandwich board, they just can't put a banner. And again, I did address this with the planning commission and the DDA, they both were not in favor of allowing them on the front of the buildings. I went to both of them, we addressed this. I tried to ask their opinions, they didn't want to see the front of the buildings loaded up with banners. They don't have very many, if you look at the downtown, there's not a lot of spaces in the front of a building for a banner to be placed.
But then, go ahead.
Will this eliminate any at all on the corner of North Street where we have the railings for like the Friday night thing?
That's a different scenario, that's approved by the city commission as part of the events.
Okay, so that would still be,
Those are still fine, those are theirs, again, you guys permit those as part of a city event going on, so.
But the thing too about banners is they just can't be permanent
Right. and the-
advertising, which we had one for a long time that finally went away because of change of
Yep.
use ownership, so.
Yep. Yep, we finally got that one cleaned up, that was a complaint for many, many years.
But it was permitted, so.
It was there for a long time.
Yeah. Any other, go ahead, Ken.
Nothing, I just reiterate, they can put something in the window if it's on sale.
Yeah.
So temporary
It's
promotional
inside
materials.
temporary promotional.
Yep, basically, if they have
That's what I
something
thought.
affixed to the window, a sign,
Yeah.
something in
So-
there, there's a certain
what I'm
percentage they
saying.
can cover, but they can have it. Just like you see, you go by Wings and they have their Bell stuff when they have that beer on sale, and they might have another beer that comes up the next month, but they just transition through those.
Well, I got a comment before we move on. I like how you started out the presentation by saying you're bringing things forward because they keep coming up and you just want to clean things up. I commend you for that. Thank you.
ditto.
I have a question too. So on the corner clearance, are you getting a lot of cases coming forward now, or is this something that's been ongoing?
It's just been an ongoing thing.
But it's, I mean, is it widespread or just a few here and there?
A couple times a year, maybe.
Okay.
Nothing, I mean, most people, they make the option, most of them just go back and just go even with their house versus coming out, but the way that the ordinance was written before was, even if they were to allow to go that 12.5 feet, the ordinance contradicted itself right there and said that you couldn't have chain link fence or privacy fence within that area anyways. So this cleans it up, because the way the ordinance reads is the most restrictive applies. So even if we would have permitted in corner clearance, the other section says you couldn't do it anyways. So this is cleaning up both of that within that 12.5 foot or that secondary side street, that area that they wouldn't have been able to have those types of fences, they can now.
Oh, thank you.
Any other questions?
Could we break these three issues up into three separate proposals? I hate to throw baby out with the bathwater in my vote.
You can do whatever you want. You're allowed to, commission, whoever makes the motion can
Read it 3
break it
times.
up into different sections, absolutely.
Which one are you talking, the banner? This one?
Let's just do 3.
Yeah.
3, okay.
Yep. Mr. Mayor, I move that the Sturgis City Commission consider this the first reading of the city zoning ordinance, section 1.1011, as presented.
Do I have a motion
Second.
and support? All in
Aye.
favor?
Aye.
Nay.
Opposed? So moved.
No.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the Sturgis City Commission consider this the first reading of the city zoning ordinance, section 1.1106, as presented.
So we have a motion
Support.
and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
And Mr. Mayor, I move that the Sturgis City Commission consider this the first reading of the city zoning ordinance, section 1.1107, as presented.
So we have a motion
Support.
and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Will. Next on the agenda is the Doyle Community Center roof discussion. Mr. Ritt, welcome tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Commissioners, coming to you for some direction tonight on how to proceed with the repair of the Doyle Center roof. Doyle Center was constructed through generous donations and community support in 1996. This marks the 30th year for that facility. Over the last 9 years, the building's undergone many renovations and improvements, including the construction of the iron mill weight room, the replacement of the track and court facilities floors, as well as complete remodeling of the locker room and restroom facilities. Also, we installed LED court lighting in the facility in the last couple of years. All these were major improvements to the overall member experience in the facility. During the winter of 2013, with several large snowfalls, if you remember 2013, I remember it very well, followed by warm-ups, followed by deep freezes that led to significant amounts of ice on the low-slope lower section of the roof. This caused concern due to the weight of the ice, and at that time a contractor was called in to help remove that ice. While doing so, they penetrated the steel roof in the lower sections, causing an emergency repair to be necessary. At that time, the roof, that lower slope section of the roof on both sides, was replaced with the TPO membrane over the existing damaged steel. Since that time, the Doyles encountered many issues with leaking at that transition and in the lower slope sections of the roof. Repair of the entire Doyle roof was included in the current fiscal year's capital improvement plan in the amount of $325,000. Staff published a request for information seeking options for the retrofit of the Doyle roof. During investigations by several contractors, concerns about the deterioration of the TPO and the inadequate flashing at the transitions were noted. Staff was presented with 2 acceptable retrofit options for the repair of the roof that would address the primary concerns. Staff then presented these options to the Doyle Board for a recommendation to come to the City Commission, to present to the City Commission. Option 1 would be an EPDM or TPO plastic roof. Basically, what we would do with option 1 is we would remove the existing TPO that was installed in 2013. Any of the base layers that they put down to level to put that TPO down to, and then replace. They would fill the existing metal profile with a basically styrofoam to make a flat surface. They would install a layer of insulation and then install the EPDM rubber or the TPO material. Cost for the TPO option is budgeted at $9 a square foot, or about $423,000 for the entire facility. Cost of the EPDM option was budgeted about $12 a square foot, or about $564,000. Warranties for both options are going to come in at about 20 years, with a maximum life expectancy about 30 years, and then you're going to have to replace that top layer of TPO or EPDM membrane. Interesting that Dr. Ebert spoke about the flat roofs at the schools that were installed in the early 2000s. So those roofs have lasted 22 years, and they're talking about needing to replace those already. Good timing, I guess. Concerns about these materials are the expansion and contraction that will take place from season to season through the heating and cooling seasons that could lead to separation in the joints. And because of the soft nature of the materials, it could be damaged by hail or other adverse weather conditions, causing leaking. Based on the budget numbers that we were given that I gave you, we would improve the insulating factor of the roof by about an R6. Option number 2 would be a metal roof retrofit. This process would also include removing the TPO membrane and the other base materials, installation of a new custom purlin system that would be connected right to the existing purlins underneath the steel roof, installation of an R19 insulation, and then installation of a concealed fastener mechanical seam 24-gauge steel roof panel, and specified flashing systems at all the transitions. Cost for this option is at $15.19 per square foot, or about $696,000. These are the budget numbers we were given late last summer. Warranty for this option is a 40-year finish warranty, but the materials should never need to be replaced. The concerns for this option would be obviously the overall cost, but the increased R19 insulation factor would probably double, if not more than double, what we currently have on the roof system at the Doyle, improving the overall efficiency of the building as well. The deterioration, if you've been to the Doyle, if you notice, we have deterioration on the bottom side of the insulation, the white on the ceiling. A lot of that's caused because we've had water infiltration, because we have a heat loss there. Most of that, where the paint is flecking off of that, is due to that. So a lot of that would be eliminated with this new installation. When presented to the Doyle board, the recommendation was made to request the metal roof retrofit as a solution. Since that recommendation, staff requested help from a structural engineer to ensure that the metal roof retrofit would fall within specifications of the existing roof loads. That was confirmed that would be an option that we could proceed with. It would be acceptable. But this time I'm looking for direction from the commission on how to proceed.
Yeah.
And they're a lot of money.
Yeah, but I think the long term.
The long
would
term
be-
is
yeah.
the best option.
Look at the numbers, yeah. Metal.
Metal.
Yeah.
Heavy metal. So I got some questions. So you said that the increased R19 installation would likely double. What's the installation now?
I'm not sure what the insulating factor of the existing insulation is. A lot of it has been compromised due to being wet, so it's lost its factor over the years. I mean, 1996, Will, any idea what the 1996 insulation would have been? I mean, so what they do,
That much.
they install the roof purlins to the structural members, and then they roll out this insulation and they place the steel right on top of it. So it does get compressed, so it's not, the insulating factor is already compromised somewhat every place you make an attachment. So I'm guessing it may have been R16 at the time.
Well, that's not doubling it then. Unless it really went down to like 6.
Yeah, well, we
or 7.
probably more than double what we have now.
So how much more efficiency do you think the percentage-wise would the HVAC system improve on that?
Well, trying to recall, 70% of your heat loss is up. So, and you know, as high as the ceilings are in there, that's, I don't know, it's going to help. It's definitely going to help with the overall heating costs of the building. And, well, we don't cool it, but.
I mean, it's way overdue. I mean, 30 years and,
Yeah.
I mean, I just started working out again and we just did the track not too long ago and sometimes you see buckets there with water in there. I mean, we gotta, I hate spending money, but man, it's gotta be done.
And we've chased those leaks. We've chased those
Gotta
leaks
be
as
done.
long as I've been here,
Yeah.
trying to come up with solutions. And it continues, you know.
I'm just looking at the dollars and the years. Mathematically, it just seems to make sense. Yes, it is
Yeah.
a lot of, I mean, it is a lot of money, but I mean,
And-
the payback's there.
Right, and when would this end up being done
The goal is to do it this summer.
this summer?
Yeah.
What would be the funding, Andrew? I know you talked about it briefly.
Yeah, I think, Sadie and I have kind of talked about different options. Originally, in the budget for last year, we were projecting a lot lower overall cost to do the project, still significant, but a lot lower overall cost to do the project. Even at that time, we were looking at needing to finance it in some way. We talked about a couple different options. I don't know if you want to run through them kind of quickly, Sadie.
Yeah, because of the dollar amount being under $1 million, bonding is a little bit harder in that case if you're just going out to bond for the roof. So it's a possibility that we could still go out and bond, but it would be for a shorter duration. And we'd have to kind of see the appetite of what local banks are willing to do and what that looks like. We could also see what other projects we have and try and lump it into a capital improvement bond. That gives you 3 years to spend the funds. So that would be an overall kind of looking at what's going on in the next 2 years. What do we suspect that we need to spend those funds on? And again, do we have the sources to cover those debt service payments? And then, we do have some funds in the capital reserve, but it would deplete those reserves down to cover the cost of this. So,
and I think since we talked, I even looked at capital in this year that's being pulled from the capital reserve. Are there projects we could potentially delay that would maybe not deplete the capital reserve as much? The only one that I saw that for this fiscal year that I would feel comfortable recommending would be the parking lot rehab across the street from us in the auditorium there. That corner parking lot is scheduled, but it's $175,000. So you still got quite a bit that you'd be pulling out of capital reserve that wasn't otherwise offset. So
those are,
yeah. And we did inquire about, one, we're not able to access like a traditional loan from a bank for a project like that. A lot of times we'll use an installment purchase. Sadie, you looked into that and that was not possible.
Yeah, it's more for, truly tangible items. Like we're doing it with the ambulance we recently talked about. So it's just not a viable option in that kind of market for a roof replacement.
Barry?
If you're looking for capital improvements, that whole front parking area is probably part of it as well. It is not in great condition and it's going to get much worse. I had a couple questions for Dan. Is this the whole primary roof? Yes. So that wasn't the larger, higher elevated roof wasn't damaged in 2015, was it? It was only the lower portions?
The lower slope sections and the transitions from the secondary steep slope and lower slope, yeah.
Is the overall primary roof in poor condition as well? It's been there for 30, actually 35 years, but 33 years, something like that. Is that still a problem as well, or is it just the side roof?
We have leaking at all on all areas.
I throw this out there, it's a commission decision, but look at going for the metal roof and then seeing what other projects that you can throw on so we can get a bond and go that way, but that's just me.
We did that
That's
for
just
the
me
auditorium,
saying.
had to get a bond. And we are paying that off.
It's whatever the commission wants to do.
Put your brick on the metal roof.
Nope.
Get your name on it.
Put your name on the metal roof.
I'm joking.
Barry did
Can you
bring
like
up an
metal etching?
interesting, Barry did bring up an interesting thing about that parking lot. I mean, there's,
I don't know
I'm
where that
almost-
parking lot. I know we have some long-term,
you know,
when we do the parking lots, I know that one's definitely on it. Where it is, I don't know. Right off
I
the
know
top of my head.
to hold future tournaments and bring other tournaments into play, to be used there to generate revenue for the Doyle. Barry just perked my interest by trying to read do that parking lot and make more parking out there, so that
Well,
when we
was he
do
talking
have.
about just resurfacing, or was he
Well, he was talking about
expanding?
just doing something to that parking, but I'm thinking like,
about
if we're gonna do something with that parking lot, let's throw some more.
We got other
in
parking
there.
lot projects that are already
So
on the
we
list
can
now,
make some money out there.
including one outside.
know
this
there's-
I mean, perk my interest, but you know.
I know there's
yeah.
a lot of people that would like to see some pickleball courts built there too. so-
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So,
It's all what we want to spend the money on. I can,
Pickleball.
if we're talking over the next 3 years, I can probably find several infrastructure projects that we could lump into a bond and not bat an eye.
I mean, the gentleman who come out and did the presentation last year for the St. Joe project said that for a municipality our size, to only have one bond, I mean, we're pretty fiscal responsible, so.
I
would look at wanting to get the roof done, because it's only gonna cost more down the road. It'll be 40 years. Half of us won't be alive to see it, do full warranty, but I think it just makes sense.
Don't look at Aaron like that.
Speak for yourself.
It makes sense to, see what other projects we can do to get this done. But
Seems
it's a
like-
commission decision, so
Seems a
whatever.
general consensus is metal is the way to go, is what I'm hearing.
That's not
So we're
that issue, it's the money's that issue.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
We're talking,
Yep.
he needs direction on where to go, and Dan, that's what they're looking for.
Definitely metal.
What option we want to go with. It sounds like metal.
Definitely.
When it comes to the financing options, then it would be up to Andrew, Sadie, and whoever to bring back to us other maybe capital projects that might be able to be
We can bring
thrown
back,
into there that might make sense for the city at that point in time for a later discussion.
we can bring
Yeah.
back some options for you.
We don't have to decide on it right
Right.
Yeah, we're not deciding today, you just need feedback, but it's only gonna be more expensive if we kick it down the road.
So I have one other question is, so when we got the figure for the 325,000 to put in the budget for this project, it was based on initial discussions with contractors. What contractors did we talk to about this? Was it just to basically do a patch job, or was it to put the EPDM rubber? Or was it to do
yeah,
more?
basically, we were talking about not including the entire roof as part of the project, but as we got into the scope, the recommendation was to make some transition changes. For the high slope, the high slope down to that lower slope section, like in the front of the building, that slope is a 1/12 pitch. It's got like an 18/12 pitch, so it's coming straight down the roof into a flat roof.
I've been
What
on
it's
top
doing-
of that.
Yeah, and it's damaging that roof.
I was
Yeah,
here
so-
for all that, right?
yeah, yeah. So they recommend making some changes overall there.
Yeah, they need to redesign it, but yeah.
Well,
Changes to the slope?
well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a change in that transition through the way we flash it, yes. So it's, you're not coming straight down like this. We're gonna soften that transition. So that,
Okay.
yeah, because I mean, the snow and the ice just, and hopefully with the R19 insulation, hopefully we don't have as much ice.
Back to the financing part of it, I think, Sadie, did you say that if we were to bond other projects, there would be 3 years to spend on that? So we wouldn't have to have things contracted in this fiscal year for money bonded if we get the roof done and have other projects?
Yeah, once you have the funds, you have 3 years to spend those funds.
So we just have to have an idea of what projects we want to lump in and figure that out. We could have that and not delay the Doyle roof production.
One of the things we talked about earlier was potentially delaying a year to kind of combine, but yeah, with that
We would need
flexibility,
to.
we could potentially
We can
keep
get
everything
Yeah, I was
on
thinking we'd
schedule.
have to do it all within the same timeframe, but if we get
3
3 years
years.
to spread it out, so.
Are they talking about changing the pitch on that 1/12 pitch roof?
No,
The whole thing?
no.
You have more of a hollow area?
That's real flat for steel.
It is.
That
I
would be-
questioned that when I saw the structural drawing, that I,
Could they hybrid that and maybe put the rubber on flat and go with steel on top? Because I know rubber's good on a flat, but
well, it's
steel's
still,
bad.
it's still gonna be, with the amount of snow and stuff that slides down, it's still gonna be an issue with the rubber because it ends up
Yeah.
smashing down everything and it creates a bowl, and then water doesn't flow off the roof at all.
So you got direction then, right? You good?
I got my direction,
Okay.
unless you guys have more questions. I've got my
Okay.
direction.
You're comfortable, commission has consensus to go with option 2 of the metal roof on the door?
Yes. Yep.
But not
Thank
pay
you,
for
Dan.
it.
Minor problem.
But not paid for.
Can't have everything, but I want it.
Right now, that's a concern.
If we're able to break things up like that, I've got it.
I love that. I like that. All right. Moving on with the agenda, the Pioneer Park restricted covenant, Mr. Barry Cox. Welcome back, Barry.
Thank you, Mayor. We have, hopefully on the line here, we have, this evening, we have Carol Goss. She is with Crawford Environmental Services. She's been working on this particular site at the Admiral Station at 1207 East Chicago for a couple years now. Are you there, Carol?
I am.
So she came to us a couple years ago to do some additional monitoring wells, which you see on the screen here, which was monitoring well 14 and monitoring well 15, which I think ended up actually in the public right-of-way, not on the Pioneer Park. And those were part of this process to try to close out this lust site for the gas station. And so she is bringing to you this evening, or bringing to the City Commission, looking at approval for what are we talking about? Restricted covenant over the parking lot, or over the park, over Pioneer Park. So do you want to kind of give them the overview of this, Carol, and go from there? Yeah.
Right. What we have right now is we have a small area, essentially going from the gas station property and not even to where you see MW14 on the screen there, I'm guessing, of impacted groundwater. One of the tools that Eagle allows us to use is what's known as a restrictive covenant. Essentially, it does a couple of different things. One, it says we want to restrict the use of groundwater. So, in other words, you wouldn't put a potable water well on that property. Cool thing with that is that the city has city water available in the right-of-ways there. So if there happened to ever be a visitor center or any little building put on that property, there is a municipal source available. And then that if you put a building on the property, that you would do a vapor sample prior to constructing that building, or you would put what's known as a vapor barrier. Essentially, it is a plastic type membrane between the ground and the foundation before you pour your footers. This deed restriction travels, it's recorded in the courthouse, so if by chance the city decided ever to sell this property, it would travel right along with the deed for this property. So whenever, as y'all have kept mentioning, in 30 to 40 years, none of us may be still hanging around. It's a perpetually, with it being recorded in the courthouse, it is a document of perpetuity.
And those are the conditions that are part of the restrictive covenant. So.
Yes, sir.
Just to
there are others that can be put in there, like that the property has to remain a non-residential type use, and I'm not requesting those.
Is there any money associated?
There could be.
So the mayor asked the question, is there any compensation for having the restrictive covenant on the property itself?
That is a possibility. I will tell you on other properties that I have worked through, off-site properties that I've worked through this process, my client has been approached and asked for varying dollar amounts from something as small as $2,500 to something as large as $60,000. How that generally works is, as I told Mr. Barry earlier in our conversations, is that the city would need to present, hey, we would like this much compensation. And then I would put you in contact with GPM, who is the owner of the gas station. And there would be some negotiation back and forth. Where that number ends up, that will be between y'all and not me.
All right, thank you, Carol. So TJ had an opportunity to review the restrictive covenant. I don't know that I ever heard anything back regarding any concerns with the language of it. We had a minor legal description modification. There's still going to be a survey of the park, as I understand it.
There will be.
That will go along with this document. The gas station site itself will also have a restrictive covenant over it as well. Those are the only two properties that have a restrictive covenant. Basically, I read the report that you sent over, Carol, earlier today, and basically...
and you're still awake? I'm impressed.
All 226 pages, no problem. But basically, you know, they had a spill back in 2011, and and it's impacting monitoring well number 6 is the primary place that they find the gas contamination, that it has gotten into the upper aquifer at that location. And as she mentioned, MW14, that was it both shallow and deep? That was monitoring well 14, was both shallow and deep, non-detect?
Non-detect.
And obviously the one further west was non-detect as well. So basically, you know, it's a super localized contamination. But yes, if you want to seek compensation for this, there is a range available that you can consider.
The other thing on the mention of the survey, my client will be paying for that survey, and then I will also, in addition to the copy that goes in the restrictive covenant, I'll give Barry and the city a copy of that for your use, however.
Okay. So,
Carol, I just wanted to clarify, because the draft that I had seen had talked about prohibited land uses, and either I misread it, or we might have a different draft.
Hang on, let me go look.
Yeah, sorry.
It does say non-residential.
Okay. Okay, yep, I just want to make sure I was understanding the document.
It does say non-residential.
Okay.
So that is included then?
It is included.
So Andrew, do you foresee, it's a park now, but do you foresee, do we need any type of financial cash to, you know,
I mean, I
down the
cannot.
road that we-
Here's what I'll say. I don't foresee this property really changing from our hands or changing use. Now, what I can foresee is limited by the circumstances at the time now. I think we can certainly have that discussion. I think that it makes logically good sense to have some type of restrictive covenant on the property to protect the public or anybody who owns the property going forward. So I guess I would leave it at that, and if you want us to pursue a negotiation for a dollar amount, I'm happy to do that, so.
I would, but I just want to go, I mean, just, we need that new metal roof.
I don't know that. I don't know if we're gonna get there, Rick. I don't know if we're gonna get there, but.
I don't know that I'm gonna get a number that big.
Yeah, we might get a couple purlins, but that's about it.
To start. I mean, I think, to me, it's important that the city look after its own interests, and, you know, we didn't do this to them, they did it to us, so. If we protect ourselves for down the road, then why not?
Okay. Okay. So I don't know if you've probably done a few of these, Carol. So can they approve it with a contingency about resolving a compensation award?
yes, how we typically do this is y'all can approve it and give whomever the ability to sign it upon completion or upon satisfactory negotiation of the compensation.
And then we can just report back on where we're
And then
at.
we can bring it back to you.
Okay.
Sounds good. Any other questions?
Second. And support, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you, Barry.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Carol.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Just a quick question, is this the same site that a stolen horse and buggy was parked at?
No, that was the next block.
That was the next block over, okay. Just trying to get the location in my mind.
You were worried about the horse, weren't you, Justin?
I was.
Perhaps.
All right, moving on to commissioner and staff comments. Thank you for sharing your birthday. I'm sharing a birthday with you because you're older than me. so
Absolutely.
Happy birthday, Vice Mayor Mullins. Turn it over to Sadie.
None for tonight. Thanks.
Ken?
Well, recycling's been going along, okay. One issue that we did stress to them is that we wanted to go ahead and have the same schedule for January, which would mean we wouldn't have recycling tomorrow. We've been passing that along. It appears that they're going forward with recycling. Now, it won't be tomorrow, and we're finding that out. I made a call, emails, because it's a little
My
disturbing.
recycle is already out, so we're gonna wait and see.
Yeah, so
I drug my can
regardless,
out
it's gonna be
tonight.
Friday, and I
Friday.
think it's going to happen Friday. So I think the north side's gonna go ahead Friday.
We'll put some,
Yeah, so we'll be
put some
putting some stuff
Friday's
out on
north?
Facebook as soon as,
Okay.
what's that?
Friday, the north is going to pick
Friday
up?
of the north, and then, obviously, the next week. Again, we wanted to just hold off on that. We had agreement with that, but apparently it didn't get to the right.
Yeah, Borden's
People.
website had a calendar.
Yeah,
Dan Cherry
that's-
was posted on.
No,
yeah.
I've seen it, and.
Then I started checking, yeah.
Yeah. and-
we were somewhat frustrated.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm still frustrated, but,
So does that mean then that in February, if they pick up on Friday, which is the last week of this month, the first Thursday then, which would be next week, would be the south?
That's
Yeah.
correct.
And we'd be on the first
Yeah.
and third until it has
Until
another
April.
5-week.
Yeah.
It's every other.
Well, but then every other,
No, it's just every other week.
2 weeks.
From now on, yeah, that was part of the new contract, is that it was gonna be every other week.
Right, but I'm
Which we
saying
were
we would,
okay with.
normally on the south, we've been second and fourth week. but
Yeah, no,
Due to
it's,
this, we're gonna be first and third next month.
no, you're gonna be every other week.
Every other week.
He's at next
Because
month.
4 times a year, there's a
Right.
fifth
February,
Thursday.
March, and April, you will be first and third, except that's another fifth Thursday month. And
Yeah.
so then and then starting
Yeah,
May,
and we're
they'll
gonna,
then be second and fourth.
we're gonna make sure that
That's what
everybody's
my
got a
point was,
calendar.
is that
It's
you're not
gonna-
always the second and
That's
fourth
correct.
anymore, or it's
Yeah.
gonna flip
So
depending on
mark
where.
your calendar every other week.
Yeah,
Just
which is,
follow our Sturgis community.
And we've
part of the
also,
reason-
Well, it's easier to put it in my calendar that way.
yeah, every 2
Yeah.
weeks, it's a fine thing, we just wanted to have it clear, and we thought we had it clear, and,
I like it, because those weeks where we have the 3-week gap, that.
yeah.
We're getting picked
No,
up.
it-
Northside's getting picked up this week.
So, yeah. And just so you know, we had a few landlords decide to continue on with the, many did not, but a few decided, hey, this works for us, and so
Good.
we've got that.
It's too late to wait till I talk to you.
There you go.
All right, thank you, Ken.
So we'll
Barry?
just wait and see when it comes by.
you just leave it out.
Okay. Nothing from public safety? Okay, Cody? Will? Dan? Anything from the audience? Mr. Laurie, no? Media? City attorney?
Nothing, thank you.
Nothing? Yeah, speech?
Yeah.
She said I'm gonna put my mic up like that, and I don't wanna have to say anything today. So,
Andrew?
yeah, just real quick, wanted to mention, project we're looking at. We're kinda in early stages, but wanna make you aware, we'll have more at next meeting. So, the DWSRF, program, so this is the Drinking Water State Revolving Fund. If you recall, this is the fund that we've submitted projects for St. Joseph Street for a number of years. They have funds that are specifically targeted to lead service line projects. And we got some notification in December, late December, early January, that they had they have some extra funds kind of targeted at lead service line projects. And then it might be a good idea to look at projects that would kind of put that out there. So the initial step was to submit, I don't know what. Intent to apply. And that was due January 21st. We did that. There is absolutely no commitment to the city as part of that. It's just, you get your foot in the door, and then I'm gonna let Barry explain the rest, so.
Thank you, Andrew. So as Andrew mentioned, this is additional, or this is kind of Michigan has a pot of money from the bipartisan infrastructure law that's still available for 2027 for lead service line replacements. And so we did a project plan for 5 years. That project plan, after last year's last grant opportunity, expired. So for us to go forward from the ITA, we have to put together a project plan by June 1st. The last time we did this, it was July 1st, but so they moved their schedules around. So once we became aware that there was this opportunity to get some funding through this, we tried to come up with a project that seemed suitable. So we devised 2 different sizes, depending on Commission's desire, if they desire to move forward with any of them. I've talked to Fishbeck a little bit, who did the previous project plan. The project plan to do this would be about $30,000 to get it committed and be able to present it and be eligible for this funding in 2027 fiscal year. The project itself is, we went at a specific area. I wanted to do a specific area of town. And so we're trying, there's two different sizes. So from US 12 up to the railroad tracks, from Nottawa over to Lakeview, exclusive of any part of properties in Nottawa, because we know that Nottawa is going to be part of the 2029 reconstruction of that particular road. So that was one area, and we figured out how many services that we have in our inventory that are either complete lead service line from the main to the house, or they have galvanized from the service shut off into the house. That number was 204 of those. So the second area is inclusive of that area, but continues further northward all the way to Lafayette. So again, we're excluding North Nottawa. So it's basically Ward 4, northeast area. We have a lot of lead service lines in this area, total approximately, exclusive of Prospect as well, because we're already planning on doing Prospect replacements this year through public services. Is 414 is by current counts, although today some of the work I've been doing it changed that. But so we came up with a number for the ITA that's based off of what we did for the lead service line replacement project we did last year for North Park and North Clay, and I applied that number and basically prorated it to the number that we would have. So that came out to $3.314 million to do 414 services. I don't know if the commission wants to go that big or not, but that would certainly do a significant dent in what we have.
I see it'd be about a third of them, Barry, third of our remaining.
Yeah, something in that realm.
Okay.
After this coming year, that would be about 1,400 services. So the other option, which is the smaller option, would be about 1.633 million. As part of the DWR SRF monies, they have made it possible that if you are in the funding eligible area, you can get reimbursement on your project plan costs, your design costs, your construction engineering costs, or oversight costs, in addition to the actual construction costs. So it's a little more lucrative from that perspective. The point system has been changed, altered a little bit, and what was overburdened during the last couple of years that that we went after this money is no longer exactly what overburdened means. They've kind of refined it, and it makes it really difficult for us to be considered as an overburdened city eligible, because where we were was just barely into the category, and now it's 80% of that, the 100% number. So it's unlikely we would be overburdened. So that may affect our ability to be in the funding eligible portion. So what we're looking for is kind of guidance on what you want to tackle, what questions you may have. We have the ability to spend the money over the course of a 3-year time period, much like the capital bonding issue item. We also explored the opportunity to, could we do it with our services or our forces over that time frame, which it is possible to do it that way, and their per service cost is less than what a contractor version would be to do the work. So, but there's trade-offs, obviously, because they would have to be extremely dedicated to this to do 414 services in 3 years. So there's a balancing act there as well, where he said, so where it's possible, I'm not even sure if it's possible you can do part of it as contractor and then part of it as force account work.
Yeah, we'd still have some questions to be answered, obviously, on this. I mean, the other thing that I think is worth mentioning is these these loans often have some type of forgiveness element to principal forgiveness to them. Yeah.
So what I was relayed to me was that last year's principal forgiveness on LSL loans that were for those communities that got these was up, they had communities that were receiving principal forgiveness up to 50% of the actual loan amount. So there's a strong benefit there, obviously, even if it isn't quite at that level in the fiscal year 27. So,
how much did you say the design was going to be on that before we can apply for this loan?
So the project plan cost is, we've got and that's what the proposal is for next commission meeting, is just under $30,000. There would still have to be, assuming you got eligible, you were in the funding range, then you would have to actually design the project and plan the oversight of that project as well.
So if we do this, we got less than $30,000 into it with a shot at this loan.
Correct.
If it doesn't go through, we don't have to do it any further than that.
Correct.
That's correct.
Absolutely correct. We don't have to do anything more than 30,000. If you say, I don't want to spend the 30,000, this isn't an idea, we don't have to do anything else from this point going forward.
And you're still eligible for the DWSRF loan funding for another 4 years because you have an approved project plan that lasts for 5 years. So you might be able to go after, tackle some portion of that.
Right now, we think this is probably the best time for lead service line funds, right, Barry? Because they have some money they need to spend. Is that?
Yeah, they have the additional monies to spend. There are some benefits because Tom Skorsky is MIC certified, which is Michigan Infrastructure Council. He has certification in that right now, and that apparently allows communities additional points. Now, whether or not how many communities actually have a MIC certified individual, can't tell you that, but so that's one of the positive benefits for the new point system is that end of it as well. So, but how far they go beyond fiscal year 27, nobody can really be sure, but we do know that state of Michigan's got to spend these funds. It's like all federal funds, you spend it or you lose it.
I think, whatever you guys think, because we're a body of one, but the reward outweighs the risk. So
but we don't necessarily have this, in the budget out of the water fund at this point, too.
Right.
So,
my thought on that is go big or go home. We're gonna do it. Do it all.
That's why I presented
not
two
all,
options.
but the bigger section you were talking.
Without paying for it, right?
Yeah.
I do want to preface a little bit of this. It would not necessarily operate in the exact way we're trying to accomplish our public services, water service line replacements and paving. It's not like we're going to come back through immediately and pave it, because that's not really a part of that cost that we associated with it. So it would be patched, but then those roads that were dealt with would be, the next grouping. And they all are in not great shape.
Yeah, it'd be ready to go when it's.
They're going to be ready in 3 years, for sure.
That's always a plus.
Do you just want direction again?
Right now, we're planning on bringing something back. I wanted to introduce the idea to you because it was a new concept, and I didn't want you to see an agenda item next meeting and what the heck is this? We didn't talk about this. So we wanted to introduce it here. If you have a big objection, we'll just take it off. But if you're interested in moving forward, and that's what I'm hearing, we'll bring it back to you next meeting with some more detail.
In pictures.
Look forward to seeing you, Barry.
Sure.
Yeah.
Pictures.
All right, thank you, Barry.
At least numbers.
Anything else, Andrew?
I'm good.
Commissioner Harrington?
Nothing to it. Happy birthday, both of you.
Thank you. Commissioner Abs, you got anything?
Happy birthday.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioner Bourne?
Yeah, just happy birthday.
Thank you.
Getting older.
Where are we going tonight? We're looking at a lot of birthdays. Commissioner Wiki?
I was just going to say, since it's your birthdays, if it pleased the commission, we could extend the campfire to midnight, tonight only. Tonight only.
I got a bunch of wood yet.
Yeah.
No, we can have it at Rick's house. Right, Rick?
Oh, that's right.
There can only be 4 people, remember.
Commissioner Miller?
Happy birthday, guys.
Thank you.
Nothing else tonight.
Commissioner Burke?
So, have you ever seen the movie Twins? That's
No.
just. Andrew has.
I was expecting that from Marv, not from you.
He inspires me.
Commissioner Smith?
Tomorrow is National Corn Chip Day. And Rick, you hold them, I'll whip them.
What's that?
You hold them, I'll give him the spanking. How many years? I'm just waxed.
He's 54, I'm 51.
I don't think my hand can handle over 100.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe we could have a, cake with candles, but then the fire marshal would put it out.
Yeah.
Vice Mayor?
Thanks for the birthday wishes. And speaking of twins, I do have a twin sister, if anybody's not aware of that, but I'm trying to get out of here so I can go and celebrate with her for a little while. Mr. Laurie, thank you for being here tonight, first of all, foremost. You said a couple of things up there. One was that you're not here to bash anybody else, what other people that might be competing against you come this fall, and I appreciate that. And
He's like the current guy.
I've made my my feelings known about our current state representative, so I would hope that you might bring some things that would be more pleasant to the ears and minds and hearts of the citizens of St. Joseph County and Sturgis in particular. So I look forward to catching up with you at some time. And you also said, hey, I hope that you, by August, know me well enough to give me my vote, and that's what I intend to do, is give you my full year. And my expectations are very low for somebody. I like I like people who have dignity and respect for others and pay attention to local things more. And I'm hoping for someone in that vein, and it sounds to me from what you said, you're planning to be that type of person. Although I'm not sure who else will be in the race, but I'm looking forward to to hearing more about you and your campaign. So thank you for being here. And I really respect the fact that you said you're not saying anything bad, because I preach kindness all the time, and usually end with some type of a kindness quote. And the one tonight that seemed appropriate to me was because of the winter and the snow that we've been getting. This one says, kindness is like snow. It beautifies everything it covers. So let's cover everything in kindness for that.
Well, guys, I hope you guys have been staying warm. I know it's pretty nasty out there. TJ did call me before we had the pre-meeting and said that, TJ wanted to wish you happy birthday and could be here. Two, he said he reviewed everything in the packet and he has full faith in you. I said I don't know, I didn't hear your name, but he said he reviewed the packet and you guys discussed it and he was happy that you could fill in. So wanted me to share that, so.
Well, thank you. Pleasure to be here, always happy to be here on behalf of the firm. It's mostly TJ is in your eyes most times, but we are a team at the firm and we all contribute our mental energies to the issues for the city. So appreciate the opportunity to occasionally be here and attend the meeting.
Great. And, and he said that he gave you the law firm credit card for Jeff and I. He said, wherever we go, you had to come, so.
I was busy.
But anyways, you guys have a good rest of the work week, and thank you for all the birthday wishes. Stay safe and warm, everyone. Mission adjourned.
That's good.
Party's over.
They basically have a week of service.